Collective, I am the Nosy Witch. Welcome to my channel, Nosy Witch Tarot. I am doing my 5th reading today. I had to think for a moment then. I'm doing my 5th reading today. This reading is all about what to expect in this upcoming month. Now, I am filming the reading in January 2024, so if you are watching the video at the time it goes up, this will be about your upcoming month, February 2024. However, if you are listening to the reading after that, that is absolutely fine. These readings are intended to be timeless. It's my intention that the reading will find you when it is supposed to. So if you are watching this video days, weeks, months, even years after the video goes up, I'm sure you can still get something from this reading. So please stay tuned and see if anything resonates with you. So as usual, this reading will be split into 2 main sections. We will be starting the reading by looking at the one oracle card you have chosen. I am using the Urban Crow Oracle today, and this card will represent the overall energy you are embodying this coming month, the kind of energy you're going to be stepping into. So this oracle card portion should provide confirmation that you have chosen the right pile. The next portion of the reading will be the tarot portion. I'm using the Lightseers Tarot today, and in the tarot portion we might go into a little bit more detail surrounding this energy. We might talk about things you might have experienced in the not so distant past, and we will further clarify the energy you will be stepping into in the upcoming month going forward. We will then finish the reading with a little bit more confirmation by rolling the Astro dice. And that will be your reading, collective. So let's have a look at the piles. We have 5 piles to choose from today, so I think that is the most I have ever done. So let's have a look at what we've got. Over here on this side, we have pile 1 and this kind of deep purple heart. Pile 1 and the deep purple crystal heart. Here we have pile 2 and the grey crystal heart, pile 2 and the grey crystal heart. Here we have pile 3 and the pale sage green crystal heart, pile 3 and the pale sage green crystal heart. Here we have pile 4 and the clear crystal heart, pile 4 and the clear crystal heart. And here we have pile 5 and the blue crystal heart, pile 5 and the blue crystal heart. So I would recommend using your intuition to pick the pile you are most drawn to, then check the description or the comments and I will have popped the timestamps below. So you jump to that timestamp and it will take you to your chosen card and that will be your reading. If for whatever reason you are finding that you are struggling to get in touch with your intuition today, you are more than welcome to use a random number picker online to pick a pile for you. Equally, if your intuition is calling you to look at more than one pile, more than one card, you are more than welcome to do that. There might be messages for you in more than one pile. So please just follow your intuition. If a message doesn't resonate with you, then you don't have to take it. That's okay. Please remember that these are collective readings, so not every single detail is going to resonate with you, and that doesn't mean that it's not your pile. Some messages might come through for very specific people, and that's okay unless the energy is completely off and it doesn't sound like your circumstance or you at all. Then I would encourage you to keep listening and see if there are any messages in there for you. If not, again, you can simply choose a different pile. If you are finding that nothing is resonating with you, this might not be your reading, and that is absolutely okay. Maybe this reading doesn't resonate right now, maybe it will in the future, and you are very welcome to return to this reading at any time. If it's not for you right now, there are plenty of other readings and plenty of other readers out there for you. I will not be offended if you want to watch a different reader. You are still very welcome back to come and visit me and my readings in the future. In regard to any oracle decks or tarot decks I've used, I will pop the names of the decks used in the description below if you would like to purchase one of those decks for yourself. To anyone who has liked my video, commented, or subscribed so far, I want to thank you so much for the support. It really means a lot to me to know that my readings are resonating with even just one person, to know that I have even helped one person in one tiny little small way. That means a lot to me, and I'm so grateful for any of the feedback that I've had so far. If you do feel like one tiny detail in this reading resonated, again, please like, please comment, and if at all possible, please subscribe. It would mean the absolute world to me. Thank you again for all your support, and I hope you enjoy the reading. Take care, collective. Hi, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading. In this reading, we are going to look at your upcoming month, what to expect in the month of February. Don't worry if you are not watching this reading in February. This reading is intended to be timeless. So whatever time you are watching this reading, whichever month you are watching this reading, whichever year you are watching this reading is just going to talk about your upcoming month. We are going to cover things that might be changing for you this month, things that might be happening. We are going to cover potential opportunities in relation to career, romance, social life, just an overall picture at your upcoming month generally. If you want a little bit more information on what we're going to be covering, then please check out the introduction and see if you would like to stay and listen. But essentially, as usual, we are going to check the overall energy with the one oracle card and the crystal you have chosen. And then in the next portion of the reading, we are going to look at the tarot, and then I might finish the reading with a roll of the astro dice just to see what themes might be significant for you in this upcoming month. So if you chose this deep purple / grey crystal heart and you chose pile 1, this will be your reading. So without further hesitation, let's get started and have a look at the card you chose. Okay, pile 1, let's have a look. We have gifts, number 21. So pile 1, the first thing that popped into my head when I saw this gifts card is that potentially you could have a birthday coming up or a celebration of some kind. It doesn't have to be a birthday, but your birthday could be in February in Aquarius season. You might be an Aquarius. If you are an Aquarius, happy birthday to you, my Aquarius friend. It is your time to shine, and I love Aquarians so much. As a water sign with a lot of earth dominant placements in my chart, I am not really supposed to be compatible with like air signs. However, I have so many air sign friends and I really get on with Aquarius people generally. So if you are an Aquarius, just know that I really appreciate you being here. I have a lot of love for all signs, and you don't have to be an Aquarius, but a lot of the friends I have who add so much value to my life do happen to be air signs or Aquarius. So shout out to you if that applies, and happy birthday if it is your birthday coming up. Regardless of whether it's your birthday or not, I think you are very much going to be in an energy this upcoming month of receiving. You could be the recipient of a lot of generosity coming from other people. If it is your birthday, this could be in relation to material gifts. You could be getting a little bit spoiled this upcoming month with gifts, with well wishes, with material items of some kind. However, this could just be in terms of opportunities that are heading your way. It could be in relation to career opportunities or something like that. Whatever is the case for you, it's just like you are drawing more of this energy in of people being willing to give to you, people wanting to be generous towards you. It could be in relation to their time. people wanting to commit more time to you, more effort to give to you, for you to sit back and be in the energy of really receiving. Perhaps you are normally somebody who is a little bit of a giver. Perhaps you give too much, and now is the time in this upcoming month for you to receive a bit more, for people to show you that you are really appreciated and that they care about you and they want to give back to you as much as you give to them, etc. Even if it's not your birthday or anything like that, it could be that, you attend a social event in this upcoming month and people are just more generous in terms of expressing words of affirmation or praise towards you. They want to give you praise. Maybe people are more willing to offer you compliments, to say, they love what you're wearing, that you look amazing. Maybe they are showering you with gifts in the sense of verbal recognition of some kind, or it could be that you're out and about, or like you go to a bar with your friends or something and you have a lot of drinks bought for you have people giving you gifts in that sense. It doesn't have to be on like an extremely large scale. For many people it won't be, it could just be little bits here and there, but whatever the case may be, it's that you are attracting a lot of abundance in terms of receiving the things that people want to give to you. They want to show you generosity of some kind. They want you to receive. This could be material items, it could be verbal affirmations, or it could just be opportunities and time that they are willing to spend on you. I'm getting that the upcoming month for you will be a time when people are nicer towards you and want to do more things for you just for the sake of being nice. If you have a stable relationship or, a romantic partner who you live with or anything like that, I mean, you don't have to live with them, but just if you have a long-term relationship is what I'm saying, it could be that your partner is making more of an effort to do nice things for you. This could just be something as simple as offering to give you a massage and you're kind of like, where's this come from? Like, you're not normally like this. Because maybe you're usually in the energy of being the person who is more giving, the person who offers to do things like that. But I feel like maybe a lot of people are realizing that about you and they're really valuing it and appreciating it. And I feel like this is something that's making you attract that energy back, because people realize the value that you bring to their life and they want to give back to you in some way. They want to be generous. They want to offer these things and be nice for the sake of being nice, because they know that they are very lucky to have you in their life. That is something that I'm very much getting. It could be that it's a gift in terms of like an opportunity that comes your way that feels like a gift, because it's kind of like, whoa, this has come from nowhere, but this is brilliant and it feels like a gift from the universe or something like that. So it could be that, you're struggling at work or something like that and you've been looking for a new job, but you've been searching every day and the right one hasn't come along or something like that. And then you could be getting this new opportunity that almost falls into your lap, like it just comes from nowhere. And you're thinking like, oh my gosh, like I was searching for these jobs for weeks and I couldn't see anything. And then this one's been like recommended by a friend, like maybe they've put you forward for the job or something like that. They've sent you a link to this job and you're like, oh my God, I haven't seen this before. I've been searching for ages and this has never come up before. And now suddenly I found this perfect role for me, and maybe you get the role or something like that. It's just an opportunity that sort of comes quite unexpectedly. It's a bit of a shock, but a very pleasant surprise. This upcoming month is so far looking extremely positive for you, Pal One. You are overall just going to be in an energy of receiving opportunities. Maybe you've been working hard these past few months, maybe you're tired, maybe you're experiencing a little bit of burnout, and now is the time for you to receive. It's like you getting back, you being gifted something from another person, from yourself, or from the universe. Could be all three. And it could be your birthday, but it doesn't have to be. It could just be that wherever you are, whatever you do in this upcoming month, you are going to be receiving a lot more generosity, whether that be in the form of material items or just kind words or just people wanting to help you more, people making more of an effort towards you and giving back with the same energy that you give to them, something like that. The number 21 could be significant for you. Maybe it is even like your 21st birthday or something, but it absolutely doesn't have to be. That might only apply to a few people, but that could very well be the case for some people. With this imagery on the card with all these little items, it's also making me think of like decluttering your space or something. So perhaps, if you have received gifts recently, and it doesn't even have to be that it's like your birthday this month and that's why. It could be that, you received some gifts from Christmas which you have still yet to organize. Maybe you're trying to find spaces for certain items, and maybe this upcoming month you are focusing on decluttering your space, getting rid of items that you no longer need, or passing those items on. You could be gifting those items to someone else. You could be like getting rid of old clothes or something like that and selling them online, selling them on Vinted, or like giving them to a charity shop or something like that. You could be being generous towards other people, but in return, you get the opportunity to declutter your space and to make it a nicer environment to be in, like without the clutter and without the items that you don't need. And that could feel very rewarding in some ways. So that is what I am getting for you, pile one, with the Oracle card. We are just going to move on to the tarot portion of the reading. I hope this is resonating so far. So yeah, I will see you at the tarot portion of your reading, pile one. Welcome back to the tarot portion of your reading, pile one. Without hesitation, let's have a look at the tarot cards that I've pulled for you. Okay, we have King of Swords in reverse. We have the Six of Swords upright. We have the Four of Cups. We have the Hermit. We have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. We have the Ace of Pentacles. We have the King of Wands. We have the Six of Wands. We have Justice. And we have the Devil. Okay, I'm just going to check that the cards are in frame. Please bear with me. Okay, pile one, you might have experienced quite a tough time these past couple of months. I get the sense with this Four of Cups, you have been experiencing a little bit of disconnection from your life. It's like you've been showing up day to day, maybe to your job, like to your place of work, but it feels as though you are kind of alienated from the world around you. I get this sense of somebody who's kind of interacting with the world on autopilot. Maybe you are feeling this sense of indifference, or that is something you have been feeling. Maybe you are just kind of showing up every day, but you're sort of contemplating your deeper purpose or something like that. Maybe you have been feeling a little bit like, what is the point? Or I'm not enjoying this role, let's say, if it's a job or something like that. And potentially you've really been feeling quite bored with where you're at. And more than anything, you're longing for a change, longing for some excitement, for something to happen to elevate your growth in some way, because you have maybe been experiencing this little bit of stagnant energy. And I feel like that can often happen, like after all the kind of excitement of Christmas and things like that. If you celebrate Christmas, we get into January and we kind of set up all these resolutions for ourselves. I don't know if you're somebody who does that, but if you are watching this in January and you are wondering how February is going to be, it could be that you're thinking like, oh, I made all these resolutions for myself and everything still feels the same. There's still this sense of like indifference, of boredom in like a workplace or just day to day. And it just feels like this sort of claustrophobic, stagnant energy, and you're wondering how you can get out of that. With this King of Swords in reverse, it's making me feel as though something has been really holding you back. Something has felt like an imposition. Maybe you have been dealing with a person who comes across as quite controlling, quite irrational, and feels a little bit like a dictator of some kind. And maybe you felt as though this person is oppressing you. This could be in relation to a romantic relationship, or even like just a friendship or family member, somebody in your social circle who you've been interacting with, who you feel sort of restricted by, you've felt controlled by to some degree. It could be in relation to an actual job role, like maybe you have felt very stagnant and stuck in your job, but you felt as though you're oppressed by it, like there's no escape. Maybe you've been thinking, like, well, I've no other choice. Like, I have to pay my bills, I have to stick with this job, I have to go in every day. And you've really felt this sense of indifference towards what you're doing. You have been feeling like it doesn't really serve you, it doesn't contribute towards your greater purpose, if you identify with having like a greater purpose. But you feel as though you're stuck there, you feel as though you can't really escape it. Maybe you've had difficulty with a colleague or something like that, or a manager of some kind. It could be that you've been dealing with somebody above you in like the work hierarchy, and maybe they have kind of made your experience at that place of work quite miserable. Maybe you have a difficult relationship with this person. Because, of course, a lot of jobs are hard work, and the people you work with who, are supposed to be there to support you, they might not be your friends who you would hang around with outside of work, but if you have a good set of colleagues to work with, that can make or break your work experience. And it feels as though there's been hostility in terms of your work. I'm getting the sense of, a manager of some kind who isn't very fair. Maybe there's somebody who doesn't practice what they preach. Maybe they're somebody who can be quite irrational, like they fly off the handle quite easily if, say, you don't meet a particular target in your job or something like that. And it doesn't feel fair because it feels as though you've put a lot of energy into this job. Maybe you feel like singled out by this person. Maybe you feel as though they are quite unnecessarily cold and distant towards you, and they can be quite harsh. And maybe you don't feel like it's fair because you feel like, you make the effort in this job. It might not be your dream, but you show up every day and you do the job and you do it to the best of your ability. But maybe you feel as though you just can't do right in this person's eyes. Like, even regardless of you showing up every day and getting the job done, like it's never good enough. And depending on what mood this person's in, let's say, they could sort of fly off the handle at you for the slightest thing, and you are finding that this workplace or whatever this situation is just isn't a nice place to be because of how this person is acting, something like that. It doesn't have to be work, it could be like a family member, maybe somebody you live with, maybe like your mood is very much dependent on their mood, but you feel as though you have no choice but to be around them because, like, maybe you can't afford to move out and live on your own or something like that, or you can't afford not to have this job if it is a job. So you are really feeling this, or you have been feeling this Four of Cups, like this sense of, stagnancy and feeling restricted, feeling trapped, but not really having anywhere to go and not feeling as though there is any sort of momentum pushing you forward. Something like that. So I sense in this upcoming month that there might be movement forward in the way that you are leaving something behind, and it could be this job that you feel restricted by. It could just be your mentality towards this situation. You might have at certain points felt like you can't do anything about the situation, you can't move out of it. But with this Six of Swords, it's saying that something about these circumstances, like you are departing, you are leaving something behind. You see a way to remove yourself from the situation. And this is sparking a lot of new opportunities this upcoming month. So if you feel restricted by the actual physical job itself, like not one particular person, but just the actual job, it could be with the Six of Swords that you are going on to find a new job with that gifts card that we got in your oracle reading. It could be that it feels as though like a new job opportunity just kind of falls in your lap and you feel very encouraged to take it. You feel like, wow, this couldn't have come at a more perfect time, and you really feel the need to go for it, to apply for that job. And maybe it's something that because it feels as though these past few months haven't been easy at all. And it feels as though with the gift card that you got in the oracle, things are going to be coming in February more easily to you than what's happened prior to this. It feels like you are being gifted with these opportunities, like you haven't necessarily had to work too hard for them. It's like the hard work that you've done, everything that you've endured the past few months is kind of over, and things are sort of flowing to you more naturally. So it could be something like that in relation to an actual job, the job itself, or it could be that it's a person at your work who you are so pleased that you don't have to deal with anymore. They felt like a bit of a dictator. They were quite an irrational person, and maybe you are leaving them behind and you are so happy about that. Maybe it's that manager, if it was a sort of oppressive manager, maybe they're leaving your workplace, they're moving on to something else, and you are over the moon because even if it's still not the job that you want to do forever, you are just so happy to be surrounded by a more fair, a more just manager or something like that. We will go on to the justice card in a little bit. But yeah, it could be that you are dealing with more balanced people generally or something like that. More people who are willing to be fair and hear you out. And again, it could be like a manager, a boss of some kind, that they're leaving your place and the role's been passed on to someone else or something like that. So you are therefore like, you are not necessarily leaving that job situation, but you are escaping the person who was causing a lot of this negative energy, something like that. It could even be like a romantic partnership. Maybe you were dealing with an oppressive romantic partner who tried to sort of dictate how you should behave or what you should wear. Maybe they didn't like you going out with your friends and stuff like that. Maybe it just felt like this person was being too much and they were restricting you in some way. So it could be that you are ending and moving away from that situation. And with that comes a lot of clarity and a lot of introspection, but also plenty of new and positive opportunities for you. It could just be that the restriction is your own mindset towards something and you're moving away from that. Like maybe you have dealt with restrictive behaviors in terms of like your eating or feeling as though you have to be very rigid in terms of like a workout routine, like doing the same workout routine every single day, even if like at certain times of the month or whatever you are really struggling. Like let's say, you know, you get your period and maybe what your body really needs or what your body is telling you is that you need to like relax a bit more, and you can still do a workout if you want to, but you don't have to push yourself quite as hard as you normally do. Maybe you've been quite restricted in the sense that even though you are tired, you are burnt out, you still really push yourself, and that's led to some maybe like health issues, like maybe because you've not taken the time to rest. You felt yourself getting ill more frequently, especially over the winter months, you know, when we all get ill and it's like flu season and everything. Maybe you've just felt quite run down. So maybe it is leaving behind this restrictive mentality of like, I have to do XYZ every single day. So it could be a person, it could be your mindset, or an actual like physical job, or even like if you are living with somebody who is this King of Swords in reverse person, it could be leaving them behind, like not necessarily moving out. It could be, but it could just be that you are seeing more clearly in terms of a way forward, a way out of the situation. Like if you have a family member who you're living with who feels like this King of Swords and you're worried you're never going to escape this restrictive energy, it could be that you have found a place to live that seems more affordable and you've worked out your finances and you've realized that in XYZ amount of months you will be able to move out and leave this situation, kind of leave this person behind. And that has given you this sort of forward push to keep on going. You are feeling as though opportunities can now flow to you more easily, something like that. It feels like over the last month, you have kind of been in this introspective mode. There's been a bit of hermit energy. Maybe it feels as though you've not been getting balance in terms of your social life or something like that. Maybe you've been spending a lot of time alone, or if not alone, you've been spending a lot of time stuck in this one stagnant energy, something that is making you feel a little bit bored and indifferent. And it's like you've done your sort of introspection and you're ready to kind of go and engage with the outside world again. It's starting to feel a little bit stale, this repetition of just, you know, being by yourself all the time with your own thoughts. You could be quite an introverted person, so maybe this is something that you normally enjoy, but maybe you've had a moment of kind of saying to yourself, like, right, we have done a lot of inner work, we've done a lot of introspection, but now is the time to like go and enjoy myself a little bit more. So that is something that could be happening for you in this upcoming month. Is like you're going out and interacting with the world again, you're kind of returning to society in some way. Because with the Hermit coming out just before the Five of Pentacles, it feels as though whatever you are doing in this upcoming month, you're going to be feeling very, very welcomed. You're going to be feeling as though like you're recovering from this energy over here. You're going to be experiencing some positive change from whatever you've lost is starting to feel like not a loss. So if this is in relation to like a job opportunity or something like that, it could be that you are hired for this new role and maybe you go in and you meet your manager and your new colleagues or something like that, and you feel very welcomed. You feel as though, this role is just right for me. I can tell I'm going to be very happy here. So maybe it's feeling welcomed in that sense, but equally it could be in relation to like your social circles. So maybe after, this sort of hermit energy and this experience feeling restricted, maybe you are going out a little bit more. Maybe you are attending events like social events. You could be doing something for your birthday with your friends. But if it's not your birthday, you could be doing something in Aquarius season for somebody's birthday, or like somebody's special event of some kind. And maybe you are feeling so welcomed by the group of people you are with, because perhaps, if you have been in this hermit energy, maybe they haven't seen you for some time and they are just ready to have a lot of fun with you. They are ready to welcome you. And maybe you get a lot of compliments, like maybe the people who you surround yourself with, they're like, oh my gosh, Pal One, I've not seen you in so long, but you are looking amazing. Like, tell me what you're doing. What's your skincare routine? What's going on? It just feels as though people are being quite generous towards you because they are very pleased to see you and offer you some new opportunities with this Ace of Pentacles. It feels as though maybe people will, I don't know, like we said in the oracle reading, like they'll be keen to buy you drinks. They want to know what's going on in your life. They are just interested in interacting with you and you being there. It just feels like you're feeling very comfortable, very welcomed, and you're surrounding yourself with people who are willing to give to you. And that is just going to be a really nice positive energy for you to engage with. Yeah, I nearly forgot because we have the Six of Wands as well. So that kind of matches this energy. It's like you're going to be getting recognition and praise of some kind. It could just be something as simple as, like, let's say you haven't been out like to a social event in a while or something like that. And maybe this coming month you are going to a social event, you're going to celebrate with people. It could be just some recognition as simple as like the social group that you're with saying something like, Pal One, we have missed you so much. We are so glad that you've come out with us. It's so nice for you to come out of your shell, for us to finally get you out and spend some time with you. And it just makes you feel really appreciated and welcomed. It could be like a compliment of some kind, like people just telling you that you look so good, that you look like you're doing so well, that you look beautiful, radiant, healthy, something like that. It's just like at this event that you go to, if it is an event, you are really like the star of the show and people are really praising you and they're just very happy to see you and they want you to stay. So they're like giving you things, they could be giving you drinks or just making it very clear that they want to be around you. For some, this could be like a potential romantic opportunity. With this King of Wands, it could be that maybe you are meeting back up with somebody who you haven't seen for a long time and this could lead to a new opportunity. This could be a potential romance of some kind. If you were previously in like a relationship, a bad relationship with the King of Swords in reverse, and that was something that was holding you back, when you get out and about again in this upcoming month, if that does apply to you, you could meet a King of Wands type person who is everything that this King of Swords in reverse isn't. So the King of Wands person is a lot more balanced. They are more kind, they're stable, they're very abundant, so they aren't insecure. They feel like a safer person to be around than this King of Swords in reverse. This could also be the energy that you are embodying yourself. It could be that you are feeling safer in your sense of self because you are able to take control and make more decisions for yourself or something like that. It could be that the new job role that you encounter, that feels safer, that feels more secure, or maybe like the manager that you're dealing with at that job feels like a more safe and balanced person in some way, or you feel as though this role will really provide for you. This is something that will really contribute towards your future and improving in that way. This Ace of Pentacles indicates that there might be some kind of wish fulfillment, like a manifestation of yours coming true. So it could be that, if you were in this kind of stagnant energy and you were really wishing and praying that something good, something positive would happen, it could be that that positive event might be taking place in the upcoming month. Again, this could just be in terms of your mindset, like shifting your mindset into being more decisive, into not being in that place of feeling entrapped, like feeling in a prison. You could be more you could be leading your own life more with this King of Wands. You could be stepping forth and making more decisions and changing your life for the better. So it could be in terms of just you, or it could be a potential new job opportunity. I'm thinking of like material success because it's the Pentacles. So it could be a new work opportunity or a new financial opportunity of some kind that feels like a kind of dream come true in some way, or it could be a romantic opportunity heading your way, and you know, the kind of person that you meet, maybe they are this King of Wands and it's sort of everything that you've been praying for or hoping for. You meet this kind of person and you could really see it going somewhere, something like that. And with Justice, it really feels as though there is a sense of balance being brought to your life. It feels as though you are now receiving the opportunities that you deserve to receive. And if you have put a lot of hard work into something, it's like you are finally getting this recognition with the Six of Wands. So I guess it could even be like a creative project. Maybe you have been putting all your energy into something and you are feeling like it's not really progressing, like you've been feeling quite stagnant towards it, and maybe for a period of time you sort of lost your creative spark towards that and you didn't really want to engage with it. But with this Six of Wands and this Justice card, it's making me feel like there's going to be some form of recognition, some praise, and some potentially material rewards coming your way, and things are going to start to feel more fair again. You are recognizing that yes, the hard work that you've put into something has paid off. And again, this could be like going for a new job role or something like that, and you feel as though, wow, like the people who I am working with now really recognize my hard work. There's a sense again of justice being brought to the situation. Or if you get this new manager, maybe they are somebody who is praising you, who is acknowledging that you've worked hard, that you deserve to get a raise or something like that, some kind of leveling up in a certain way. Or it could be, if this is a romantic opportunity, that you know, you meet somebody who just feels a lot more stable and a lot more fair, like they offer a more balanced perspective than the person you were previously with. And going back to what we said in the oracle reading, it feels as though, you know, if you are very much like a giver, if you are a giving person, and it often feels like you know, put your energy into one particular thing and you don't get a lot back, it could be that the scales are evening out in terms of that. So like, now is your time to receive, now is your time to shine. It's time for people to give to you, to be generous to you, to give back as much as what you give to them. That is very much what I'm getting. Pile one, we do have the Devil card showing up. So I will just say, be a little bit cautious of any potential temptation of some kind, and maybe a certain temptation getting you off track of like the energy that you want to be in. Because I do feel like for the first time in a while, you might be going out and having a bit more fun. But let's say if you are committed to like some exercise goals and you want to exercise for at least 10 minutes a day or something like that, maybe that's been one of your resolutions and that's something you're trying to stick to. Obviously, I think it's important that you get your rest and you very much get your play time and your time to just go out and have a bit of fun. But maybe this Devil card is just reminding you to not go too far off track. So like, for example, if you go out and you enjoy yourself and you have a bit too much to drink, maybe the next day you struggle to exercise or you don't want to exercise or something like that, which is absolutely fine. Like, we all deserve to have an off day, and you very much deserve to go out and have fun and celebrate if that's what you want to do. However, this Devil card is maybe just reminding you to not fall into old patterns. So if you are somebody who, you know, you don't exercise one day and then it's very easy for you to slip into the behavior pattern of not exercising on the days following that, and it quickly turns into a week and a month, you get what I mean? Maybe this is just reminding you to have more of that sense of balance and realize that, you know, if you don't exercise for one day, that's fine, but you can get back on track the next day. Something like that. It's just reminding you to not fall into old patterns of behavior that might feel quite tempting because they feel quite comfortable to you, maybe when you were in this sort of stagnant energy. Maybe you just need to remind yourself that that pattern of behavior is not what you want to adhere to. That's not who you want to be. The reason that you are getting these new opportunities is because of the progress you've made so far, and you want to kind of keep that up and not fall into old patterns. That is what I am getting for you, pile one. We are just going to finish the reading by rolling the astro dice just to check the overall themes this month. pile 1. Okay, pile 1. So we have Venus. We have Venus. We have Gemini. We have Gemini. And we have the 8th house. We have the 8th house. So pile 1, it feels as though with this 8th house coming up, you are going to be going through a lot of inner transformation. And I think this is something that's very much going to be showing itself on the outside. People might be able to sense that you have done this inner work. Maybe it comes as a shock to certain people because you have experienced a kind of inner glow up, which is then showing itself on the outside, and it's making you very, very attractive to people, and it's sort of ushering in this generosity and these new experiences. Just giving the example of like if you attend a social event and you haven't done that in a while, it could be that people really feel like there is something different about you and maybe they can't put their finger on what it is, but they are very attracted to your energy. They are very attracted to being around you. There's something that feels newly powerful about you, is what I'm getting. Like maybe these past couple of months you haven't felt in your most powerful energy. Maybe you felt as though because you were quite stagnant, because you weren't able to like transform your life, you have felt stuck, you felt like limited, you felt oppressed. And maybe you are really stepping out of that, and it's something that people are noticing, and maybe it's something they want to talk to you about. Like if you are changing in ways that are noticeable for people, maybe it's with this Gemini energy, it's like people wanting you to communicate about how you did it, people asking you about this energy, like, or how you got from A to B, or how you are dealing with all these transformations so well, or something like that. And with Venus showing up as well, obviously Venus is associated with Libra, so more air sign energy, again, like with Gemini, and Venus associated with Libra and Taurus as well. Those energies could be significant to you in some way. But it makes me feel as though there's going to be more balance and harmony this upcoming month for you. Things are going to be falling into balance more, and that is just attracting more opportunities. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is about communication and things like that. So maybe this upcoming month, you are going to be experiencing more diplomatic conversations, more fair conversations, more of this sense of balance. Perhaps if you have felt oppressed by whatever this King of Swords in reverse energy was, you are coming out of that. You are going to be having more conversations that not only lead to transformative growth with the 8th house, but also feel more harmonious. You are going to be having more harmonious interactions with the people around you. And it could be due to a change in your situation that has occurred because of the changes in your own beliefs with this 8th house. So 8th house can kind of be symbolic of personal growth, personal development, and a change in our beliefs. So it could be that at one point you felt trapped in this stagnant energy. You felt as though you couldn't change this situation. And maybe due to the changes in your beliefs, like due to you exiting a situation, due to you leaving whatever was making you feel restricted, or due to you like getting a new job, maybe this has sort of released that burden. You've gone through a lot of transformation inwardly, and due to the change in your belief system, some powerful forward momentum has taken place and led you on a different trajectory, which is making you feel more balanced, more stable, more supported, more materially secure, or something like that. And it just feels as though you are being gifted by the universe in some way, like more opportunities are flowing your way in this upcoming month. Okay, pile 1, that is what I have for you. I hope this reading resonated. Thank you so, so much for listening. If any tiny part of the reading resonated in any way, please, please let me know. Please like the video. Please leave a comment below. And if possible, if at all possible, please subscribe, because that would really mean the world to me and it would help this channel out very much. Thank you so much, pile 1. I'll see you in the next one. Hi Pile 2 Collective, welcome to your reading. This reading is intended to be timeless, but this reading is regarding your upcoming month. So if you are watching the video at the time it goes out, that will be February. However, again, this is intended to be timeless, so whatever point you are watching this reading, this is in relation to your upcoming month. This is regarding your personal development, your love life, your career, things like that, just discussing any opportunities that might arise. So, if you would like further information, please check out the introduction. However, without hesitation, we are just going to get started. The reading will, as usual, be split into two sections. We will have a look at this one oracle card and we will do an energy check, and then we will move on to the tarot portion of your reading and we will finish off by rolling the astro dice. So yes, pal two, if you chose this charcoal grey crystal heart, this will be your reading. So let's just have a little look at what you got. Okay, you got number 51, upheaval. Okay, pile two, whatever has been going on these past few months, I can tell that you have been through it emotionally. There has been some kind of drastic change that has happened recently in your life. It feels a little bit like a tower moment, like something shocking has taken place, and with it, there's been a lot of upheaval. There seems to have been a point that life as you know it has kind of been shattered, and you have had to adapt to this new way of being, and with that, there's been some difficulty, there's been significant changes taking place in your life, moments that seemed quite jarring. I'm getting the phrase like you could have been through the rug being pulled from underneath you, because that's what I think of when I see the word upheaval. I think of something literally being like jolted out from underneath somebody. With this nest, I'm also getting the phrase like leaving the nest or fleeing the nest or something. So it could be that you had to physically leave a situation. It could be that you had to leave a domestic situation, and that was the upheaval. It could be that for some, even like you maybe potentially had to leave an abusive relationship and you had to flee. Maybe you had to take the nest, as in like take children with you to flee this upheaval, to flee the destruction around you of some kind. Obviously, that kind of thing is on one end of the spectrum, but that's not going to apply for everyone. But in whatever case, it could be that in recent months you have kind of gone through this shocking event. It could be a loss of some kind, like you have lost a family member recently, you've been through a period of grief. It feels as though there's been a lot of upheaval in terms of things that potentially you have to organize or sort out. Like if you've lost a family member, maybe if you've had to deal with like funeral arrangements or something like that, as well as the sort of mourning period and the things that you are going through emotionally in that sense. There's been this sense of upheaval with having to like organize something, and it's just felt quite chaotic. Maybe it's felt as though it's come out of the blue. In relation to relationships, this could be like you have had to end a relationship, not necessarily due to anything dramatic, but just the relationship has reached like the end of its course. And maybe, you lived with this person and you have had to move out, like you've had to go through upheaval in terms of moving out, in terms of finding a new place to live. Maybe it's all felt as though that's happened quite fast and that it's maybe come out of the blue a little bit, and that has been quite a shocking or like jarring situation in some way. Or maybe it's you ending a relationship or having to end a relationship due to finding something out, like being bombarded with a sort of shocking truth that came out of nowhere. Maybe there's been some kind of lie or like infidelity, something that you believed would happen and it hasn't happened, and this truth has shocked you, but it's also like pushed you into a different path. But the way to that path has felt very chaotic, has felt like you've had to you've suddenly been thrust into an entirely new situation, and it's really hard to pinpoint how you got from A to B, because maybe you were just in survival mode whilst you were going through that. It just felt as though like something you had to do. Maybe you couldn't really process whatever grief was going on due to this situation. Like if it was a case of you ending a relationship and then having to move out and this had to happen quite quickly or something like that, maybe you were so focused on like the finding a place to live, finding the financial resources to do that, that you didn't really emotionally consider the loss of the relationship, the end of the partnership or something like that. Or equally, it could be that if somebody has passed away, and if somebody important to you has passed away, I'm very, very sorry that that has happened. It could be that you weren't fully able to like access your grief because you were dealing with like funeral arrangements or organizing things. You had to sort things out in a material way, and you didn't have time to focus on the emotional. So maybe that is kind of hitting you now at this current point. It just feels as though whatever has happened in the past couple of months, the energy has been quite chaotic. You've gone through a lot of upheaval. Maybe there's been upheaval in your material world. It could be that you thought you were in like a secure role, and maybe people at your company or the place you work for have been made like redundant. Maybe people have been laid off. Maybe this has happened to you and it feels as though it's been a massive upheaval and, you're worried about finances. Or it could just be that, because we all are going through like quite hard financial times at the moment, I would say. It could just be that you have had to make a large payment and it feels as though it's kind of been one thing after another. It could be as though you felt that over the past few months, like sort of bad things keep happening or things keep spiraling and it's hard to keep on top of what's going on. It's just felt like a massive chaotic mess in a way is what I want to say. So one example could be like, oh, like last month you had like a health scare with something and that felt like a big upheaval. And then the next month your car broke down and you had to get it fixed. So that felt like a financial upheaval, another thing that went wrong. And then maybe your like phone or your computer broke the next month or something like that. And it was like just hard to keep track of everything sort of going on because it was one thing after another, or, that's what it felt like. It felt as though life was sort of out of control and quite chaotic. And maybe you've sort of not had time to tap into your emotions or check in with yourself in a while because you've been focused on all these external things and things going on around you. So, yeah, it could be upheaval in terms of like a health scare or something like that. However, it doesn't have to necessarily be something bad. It could be that you have even had like a new opportunity, but for some reason it has felt quite chaotic and like things have shifted quite dramatically and quite fast. It could be that you've had to like move to the other side of the country or the world to sort of chase and follow up with this job opportunity. And whilst you're really pleased that you've got the job, maybe it's caused a lot of chaos in terms of your relationship. Like, let's say if you had to make a decision to move somewhere and it was quite fast. Maybe there's been difficulty in communication with a partner about that. Like maybe there's been upheaval in the sense that you've had to decide with your partner whether they are going to move with you or whether you can do like a long distance relationship or whether you are going to break up or something like that. And maybe that has felt quite difficult, even though it's come with like a positive opportunity and a way to move forward. It feels as though the sort of surrounding circumstances have been quite chaotic and quite out of control, and you've had to rush to make this decision. That's what I'm feeling like. Or it could be that like you are selling a house or buying a house, and maybe you are moving out of your parents for the first time or something like that. Like you haven't had your own place before, so maybe you are getting the new opportunity in the sense that you finally have your own place, and that's something you're really pleased about, and it's maybe something you're really proud of. But it's come with like a lot of emotions stirring up in some way. So, like, maybe you are looking back at your life and you are looking at like the rites of passage you have been through, and it feels as though this new rite of passage, it's all happened very fast and it's a little bit emotionally overwhelming. Like, even though it might be something that in the long run you're quite pleased by and like you're happy with the outcome, but it's come with a lot of circumstances that have caused upheaval in some way. Like it could just be getting used to a new way of living. Like if you have moved out of your parents' house for the first time or something like that, it could be getting used to doing things more independently, like being in control of your own life, not having to consider those other people that you live with, not having to abide by their rules, but to make your own. And maybe that has come with like a little bit of hardship because perhaps you weren't used to this. It might not be your parents necessarily. It could just be like whoever you were in a relationship with or just somebody you lived with. The circumstances have changed and you've had to reassess and rethink everything and how you're going to approach this new way of being going forward. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that this totally negative thing has just happened and it's just ruined everything. So please don't think that it has to be negative. It's just, it feels as though whatever situation you're in, whether it is something that feels a little bit more like a loss or something to grieve over, or whether it is a new and exciting opportunity, it just feels as though it's come with a lot of chaos and a lot of upheaval. That is what I am getting for you for the oracle portion of your reading, pile 2. We are now going to move on to the tarot portion of the reading, so I will see you there. Okay, pile 2, let's have a look at what you got. So we got the King of Pentacles reversed. We got the 10 of Wands. We got the 6 of Cups reversed. We got the 10 of Pentacles. We got the Page of Pentacles. We got the 2 of Wands. We got the Ace of Wands. We got the Knight of Pentacles. There's a lot of Pentacles energy here. We got the Chariot. And we got the Empress. And let me just check that all the cards are in frame, pile 2. Please bear with me. Okay, pile 2. I've only done one other pile so far. I've done pile 1, but you might actually have some messages in pile 1 if you want to check that out when you get a chance and have a look to see whether there are any messages for you, because I am getting a bit of overlap in terms of what you've been through over the past few months, let's say, in particular with this King of Pentacles reversed and with the 10 of Wands. It feels as though you have been in the situation of taking on a lot of responsibility. Just going back to what we said in the oracle with things feeling quite chaotic. I mean, in pile 1, it didn't feel that chaotic. It felt more like a stagnant energy and a sense of indifference. And with you, it feels as though there's been so much chaos and so much upheaval, so much responsibility that, you know, you haven't really had time to think about your emotions or feel stagnant or feel indifferent, because it's just been that you have had to organize so much, you have had to deal with so much, you've had a lot on your plate. This could be in relation to you if you have a full-time job and you are in the process of moving, of leaving home, or of organizing, that kind of thing. Or, you know, if you have dealt with an actual loss of a family member or something and you are dealing with funeral arrangements, it could feel as though you are kind of burnt out, everything has felt so chaotic. It's just been this and this and this and this. You've had to deal with one thing after another, and it's led to this sense of you feeling like you've had too much thrust on you, you literally can't carry it anymore. And it's also made you kind of lose touch a little bit with your emotional side, because you've had to focus on these very practical responsibilities. As I said, when we were looking at the cards, you are getting a lot of Pentacles energy coming through, but it feels as though you are maybe focusing, or you have been focusing too much on, to no fault of your own, you've been focusing too much on the practical, because you've had to deal with these upcoming situations, these situations that have been put in front of you. You've just had to deal with it. You've had to get by. You've had to sort it. You haven't had anyone to rely on. But it's really led to this kind of emotional burnout and this sense of a detachment from your inner self, from your emotions, and a bit of an inability to maybe move forward and enter the next phase of your life, and to really be in touch with yourself, your body and your mind. With this King of Pentacles in reverse, maybe you have recently faced some financial problems, or you have dealt with somebody who was financially unstable, or you have been the person in the not so distant past who has been financially unstable. If we go back to the oracle reading and we talk about that element of having the rug pulled from under you, it could be that you had access to a stable career, a stable source of income, and maybe this was abruptly taken away from you and it left you feeling financially unstable and quite vulnerable in a material sense. And it felt as though there wasn't enough time to, sort of dwell on it, because you were very well aware that well, I need to provide for myself, I need to pay my bills. So it felt as though you just had to snatch up whichever job came to you first or something like that. And you didn't really have the opportunity to grieve for whatever was lost. Maybe you really enjoyed your job and that as much as you can enjoy like a day job, and perhaps that was taken away from you and you didn't really have time to grieve that. Or it could be like an actual physical loss of a person, a partner, and maybe you've like been forced to focus on the material rather than being in touch with your own grief and your own emotions regarding this upheaval. You've been forced to focus on the practical aspects because, let's say, if you lost a partner and you have children with this person, maybe the focus has been like providing for the children. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a death. Maybe if there has been a separation or somebody has left, like if there has been this big tower moment in terms of a romantic relationship, like somebody has left the home that you share and they're not contributing financially, like maybe it doesn't even have to be left, like maybe your partner has recently come into some struggle financially, like they've lost their job and you have to be the sole provider for the family or something like that. And maybe that has been too much responsibility to carry, but you literally haven't had time to think about that. You've just kind of got on with it because you've been forced into that situation. You're like, what are my other options? There are no other options. I can't get out of this situation. I just have to go through it. I have to just try my best to show up and provide for my family and do my job every day and hope that that will get us by. But this has been a really big source of worry. The King of Pentacles in reverse can also sometimes refer to gambling. So it could be that you have been in a relationship in the past with somebody who maybe has like a gambling addiction or who struggles with making financial decisions. And maybe they have placed you in like a difficult situation. They have put your material stability at risk. And it feels as though this has come as like a big shock because they've exploited you in some way. Maybe they've exploited your kindness, like maybe you've had people who have taken advantage of your generosity or something like that, and they've tried to get material items from you, or they've borrowed money from you and they've not given it back. They've put too much responsibility on you in that sense. Whatever situation you've been placed in, it just feels as though to some degree you've been lied to, and it feels like you have been exploited to some degree. It could even be like not necessarily financially. Well, I suppose financially, because it could be that you're at a job and you're taking on too many roles. You're not getting compensated for the amount of work that you're carrying out. Maybe you're taking on roles that are higher than what your paid grade provides or something like that due to like staff absence or staff sickness, and maybe this is just expected from management. Maybe they are exploiting you in that sense that they are not providing the right pay for the roles that you're taking on. It could be that you have had to have some time off work due to ill health, or your partner has had to take some time out of work due to ill health or disability or something like that. Maybe you have been dealing with like illness in your family or with your partner, and that has led to having to have a lot of time off work. And maybe this is a source of worry because you have bills to pay and you have things to organize, and if that does apply to you, it's like you are struggling to concentrate on getting better and your physical health because you are worried about the financial repercussions. Like maybe you are worried if, perhaps you don't get paid for sick days, maybe you don't have that kind of cover to rely on. So maybe you have been forcing yourself to go into work when actually you feel quite unwell, or maybe you're struggling with a disability that you've not been able to access help for or something like that, or a partner has, or like somebody in your family has, a child or a parent. Maybe like you are trying to organize this situation for that person, and it has just felt as though for whatever reason, for any of those reasons, like too much has been put on you and you are kind of on the verge of collapse over it. Felt as though it's been one thing after another and things have just kind of got on top of you and felt quite chaotic and kind of got a little bit out of control in many ways. Looking at it from a sort of more positive lens, and it's not that you're not experiencing these feelings of feeling overburdened, because We did get the Ten of Wands showing up, so really there's no escaping that that is something that you have been going through, but it could just be that overall, like, there's been a positive shift and growth in terms of you, like, changing your life. So let's say if you are somebody who has just got on the property ladder, or you have moved out of your parents' home, your family home for the first time, and you are creating a new life for yourself, it's like that is a very positive change and something to be proud of, but it feels as though you're relying solely on yourself, and maybe you are a bit worried about asking for help. It feels as though it's come with a lot of responsibility. Like, potentially, if you were used to sort of having a lot of things done for you when you lived with your family, or you were used to having to adhere to like a certain routine because that's what your family insisted upon. Obviously, it's nice to get the freedom in the sense that if you have your own home, it's your own rules and you can do what you want. But with that can sometimes come a sense of feeling a little bit out of control, or feeling like, oh wait, like crap, I have to organize my life now, like nobody is doing this for me. And sometimes that can come with a little bit of fear if it's something we've never really done before, or maybe if we were in quite like a restrictive home previously where we had to follow these very strict rules. It can be very freeing to get out of that, but with freedom can sometimes come, yeah, like a little bit of fear, a little bit of thinking like, oh no, like I've never been in this situation before, what do I do now? And that can feel like a lot of responsibility, trying to organize our life like that and trying to be independent. It can feel quite chaotic, so it could be something like that. I am really leaning into this leaving home analogy, pile two, with this Six of Cups in reverse that literally refers to like moving forward, to leaving a home. However, it can also refer sometimes to like being a little bit stuck in the past, or having some difficulty moving forward, with it being in reverse. So it could be that you have recently experienced a little bit of struggle with adapting to this new way of being, whatever that may be. So let's just use the example of you having moved out of your family home and you starting a new life for yourself in your own home or something like that. It could be that you were kind of romanticizing aspects of your past of living in your family home. Maybe for like years and years, you wanted to move out of your family home, but now this sort of responsibility of being independent has been thrust on you. You are kind of maybe clinging on to old ways of being, things you learned during childhood, the sort of rules and way of being that was put on you. Maybe you're kind of thinking back at that, and you're thinking, I don't know, like just one example might be something like you were expected when you lived with your family to, even if you were an adult, maybe they expected you to be like in at a certain time, like maybe they gave you a curfew or something like that. And maybe you're even romanticizing that, like even if you hated it at the time, maybe you're now thinking like, well, actually, it was kind of nice knowing that I had to be in bed at this time, because now I just stay up all night and, you know, I go on my phone or I play games or something like that. And I'm really tired in the morning. So maybe you're thinking like, oh, actually, it was nice having that routine, that structure. It doesn't have to be that example specifically, but just something like that, some kind of responsibility, like some way of being where you are having to be independent, but it has come with a little bit of struggle and feeling as though like too much is being put on you. Or it could even be something really sweet, like it could be that you like miss your family and maybe you're just struggling with missing them. Like if you have had to move out of the area or something like that for a job opportunity, or just like the place that you want to live, it's quite a way away from your family. Maybe you're not getting chance to see them as much, and maybe you're really missing them. Maybe you're missing seeing them as much, and maybe you're struggling with a bit of like feeling down due to this loss. Maybe you're seeing that like your family are getting together, potentially like at Christmas or something, and you weren't able to join them, or like you weren't able to be there for a long period of time. And maybe that sort of made you feel quite sad that you couldn't be with them, you couldn't spend that time with them. Maybe you're used to like spending every Christmas with your family, and potentially you weren't able to do that this year because of like job or work commitments, or just because you weren't able to afford travel or something like that. There was some kind of material constraints that made you feel like not a part of those things that you're usually a part of. It could be at a certain stage there was this element of you like not really living or getting involved in your own life because you were a little bit stuck in the past. So, like, let's say it is the family thing and you see that your family are getting together, and maybe you've been invited to like events in the place that you currently live. Like, maybe you have like friends who invited you out and you could have gone to social events, but instead you're like trying to ring your family and say maybe they don't really have time to like talk to you that much or something like that because they're busy dealing with their own life and their events. And maybe there's been sort of this sense of like loss and a little bit of abandonment, like you feel out in the cold and you're clinging on to like things from your past. You're just sat there wishing you were there, and you're asking questions like, oh, what's my cousin doing? Like, oh, did you see Auntie Such a Body? And you're just trying to find out more about that, and you're not really living in the like present moment of where you are because you're finding that like you're missing your family quite a bit and you just want to be involved in what they're doing, but you're not physically there, so it feels like you can't be to the full extent, and that's making you a little bit sad. It could be like you're at university or something, and maybe it's the first time that you've spent quite far away from your family and you can't visit them as much as you'd like, so you're maybe feeling a little bit down about that, a bit in your feelings. Or it could be like if you have left a romantic relationship, maybe this King of Pentacles was somebody who was quite toxic. I'm just gonna say toxic, like quite possessive, very much like somebody who can be quite selfish, like they want things their way, they can be quite greedy, they can be quite, yeah, possessive. Maybe they were somebody who was possessive over you in a certain way. Sometimes they can be like quite chauvinistic or something like that. You could have been dealing with this person and perhaps you have left that situation, you've drawn a line under it, but there's been a little bit of this element of Six of Cups in reverse where maybe you've been thinking, what was that the right thing to do? Like you're still sort of stuck in the mentality of this situation with the King of Pentacles, even though you have left it, something like that. But pile two, I do see this really changing for you in a positive way. In particular, over this upcoming month, there is going to be some kind of breakthrough which leads you onto a trajectory of creating this happy home for yourself with this Ten of Pentacles, with really putting down roots. And that could be different for all of you. Obviously, there's going to be so many situations. With the Ten of Pentacles, you know, often referring to family and roots and legacy. It could be that you are given the opportunity to see your actual biological family or your chosen family, like if you have friends or something that you've not seen in a long time. It could be that you are getting out of this Six of Cups reverse, you are getting the opportunity to see those people, to spend time with them, and it's making you so happy that you get the opportunity to do that. However, it could be that if you have moved to a new physical location, maybe you are really starting to get involved with the community there and you are really putting down roots there. Maybe it's taken you a while to settle into this new way of being, but once you are settled in and you feel as though you can be in charge of your own life and you can make your own decisions and you can be independent, it really feels as though you are, yeah, putting down roots there and you are feeling very happy in this new place or in this new situation. It could be that like if you've left a relationship even, you were maybe worried with the Six of Cups in reverse that you would always be struggling to move past this situation, but with the Ten of Pentacles, it's like you are creating this new life where your happy home is maybe something different to what you thought it would be at this stage in your life, but you are very happy with the outcome and you are feeling quite stable in the position that you're in. You are no longer kind of romanticizing that past. You are developing an affinity to this new life, this new way of being, this like maybe new home that you have or something like that. Obviously, like the Ten of Pentacles, often the imagery on the card is of like this happy family with a very stereotypical, like a mum and dad and their children and the dog. But it could be the case for you that, you know, there is more stability coming for you and like your children, your descendants, if you have any. Maybe that is something you were concerned about, but in this upcoming month, there's going to be a breakthrough in terms of like financial stability and you feeling as though you have more of a handle on things. And maybe there is this sense of you feeling reassured that, you know, your children will be safe, you'll be able to pay your bills, you will be able to feed and clothe your children or your family, something like that. Or it could be that you are getting a new pet even, or you are starting a family. If so, like, I know that's not going to apply to everyone because, you know, that is starting a family or like planning for a family doesn't just happen in 1 month, but it could be that this upcoming month is the month where you decide to take action in that sense, like you decide to start trying for a family, or maybe you are welcoming like a new baby or a new pet, a new child. You are just really coming into your own with your sense of what home is, and you are feeling more settled there. You are feeling very happy and empowered being there. If you have experienced like an actual loss of a family member and you have been focused on the financial repercussions of that, if that has been something that you have gone through, again, I am really sorry if that's something you've recently experienced. The Ten of Pentacles can also sometimes refer to inheritance. So it could be that you are able to focus more on the emotional side of dealing with your grief. You might not necessarily be having to worry about these financial difficulties if some inheritance is coming towards you. That might put you on a more even keel where you feel more stable in order to progress forward, not worrying about those kinds of things. It could be something like that. Which again, like if that has happened to you, like I'm not trying to undermine it. I know that you would much rather have your family member, your loved one back if they have now passed than an inheritance. But when we are going through an incredibly difficult time emotionally, knowing that we don't have to struggle as much financially can help in an extremely difficult and terrible circumstance. It can give us that little bit of help and support with dealing with that. So although like whatever's happened to you isn't or might not necessarily be a positive thing, there is something better than what you've gone through coming out of it. That is what I'm getting. I don't know why, because this doesn't normally come through when I talk about this card, but with you maybe having like a strong connection to your family or to your roots, it could be that you are like exploring more of your culture. Maybe you've been through a period of feeling like disconnected from your culture due to the current place that you are living. Maybe you have found it difficult to connect with other people who share the same culture as you, and maybe it's something that's quite important to you. So it could be returning to that happy place of getting back in touch with your culture, or it could be like exploring your roots more. Like some of you might be doing like an ancestry test, like a DNA test. I can't remember what you call them, but you could be using like ancestry to look into your roots, to explore your culture more. Maybe that's something you haven't previously thought about too much, and maybe sort of whatever transformation and upheaval has gone on here has made you want to reflect and look into that a little bit more, get a little bit more insight about your culture and to really prioritize that. So it could be looking into like ancestry or just getting in touch with more cultural practices and feeling a sense of connection with yourself due to those things that you are engaging in. With this Page of Pentacles, it definitely feels as though, Pile 2, you are stepping into this more independent energy, this more grounded energy. And you know, the page, it's not the knight, it's not the king, but whatever you are doing, you are stepping into more of an energy of being more grounded, being more stable, sort of building up slowly to something, learning to rely on yourself more. I definitely think that's going to be something that happens for you this upcoming month, because maybe, you know, this responsibility that you've had to deal with, that's put a lot of pressure on you, but it's sort of helped you grow into this more independent person. It could be like if you have left your family home or if you have moved, maybe at certain points you've been doubting whether you could do this. Maybe you haven't really been reaching out for support or something like that. But this Page of Pentacles showing up, it's showing me that you are more than capable of organizing your own life, of sticking to a routine, of being more structured and more stable. And it's okay to ask for help. You can and should ask for support if you need it. You shouldn't have to shoulder all of this responsibility on your own, but ultimately you are in charge of your own life, and you are slowly, strategically going after your goals in some way. That's a sort of energy shift that I'm seeing for you, that you are kind of taking responsibility for yourself and going after the thing that you want to go after. It could be that you've had this huge upheaval and you have moved out and you were struggling with a lack of routine, and maybe you are starting to adhere more to this routine, like going to bed at a certain time and making sure that you stick to that so that you feel healthy and well rested the next day to show up in your life the way that you want to. It could be something like that. Or it could just be that, like, you've made a New Year's resolution to stop spending money so much. Like, maybe if at one point you were kind of in this King of Pentacles energy and you were going above and beyond your means, it could be that you are like being more resourceful is what I'm getting, like maybe being less wasteful with food or something like that. Maybe you were somebody who, you got loads of fresh vegetables and then by the end of the week you just ended up having to throw them out because you didn't use them all and you didn't freeze them or something like that. It could just be something as simple as you taking control of your life in terms of like remembering to like meal prep more, or just buying what you need and not wasting things, not making so many frivolous purchases. If that was maybe like a trap that you fell into, maybe at one point you fell into a trap of like using Klarna and like, maybe at some point you got into debt, or it felt as though you would go into debt, and maybe that is something that you are getting out of. You are depending on yourself more and being more dependable in the sense that you are purchasing what you need, but you're not unnecessarily spending. You're not like falling victim to this out of control spending and spending for the sake of spending. That is something that I'm getting. So it could be you like organizing your life more in terms of that, like just something as basic as meal prep that can really change your financial situation in a positive way. So yeah, like with the Two of Wands as well, I almost forgot we had this, but yeah, that kind of just backs up what I've said. Like, it's all about making first steps, making preparations, starting a kind of new trajectory of your life going. So maybe in the past you have struggled, like sticking to a routine, or, not spending money unnecessarily or something like that. And this is you slowly and strategically, with the Page of Pentacles, getting out of this energy and eventually working up to this Knight of Pentacles energy. And I'm not sure all that will happen in this upcoming month, but in this current energy you're in, that is what can very much be achievable to you and something that you are working towards. And it could even be like a fast change as well with this Chariot. Maybe the more you step into this Page of Pentacles energy, the more confident you become, the more you realize that you can rely on yourself and you can be this dependable person who can stick to these things that you want to do. And maybe that has given you so much of a boost, like so much confidence, and it's something that's so exciting that it kind of shifts you towards more of this Knight of Pentacles energy and like stepping up and showing up for yourself. This Two of Wands can sometimes refer to like leaving comfort as well. So, maybe like you've debated moving to like a different job, or you've debated leaving a relationship, or, like we said, just maybe leaving your family home. And this is showing that in this upcoming month, you might be making concrete steps towards this. Maybe an upheaval has happened and you thought to yourself, like, something has to change, but maybe you haven't made these steps yet to like move out or to leave the relationship or to leave the job. But potentially this is something you are working on with the Two of Wands. You are actually taking steps towards achieving that goal. And this Knight of Pentacles is just such a beautiful energy because, like I say, like change isn't necessarily going to happen overnight. And I'm not saying that all of this will materialize in this upcoming month, but it is very much the trajectory that you are on if you are able to be in this dependable energy. And you committing to yourself has shown you that you can rely on yourself.
you are more than capable of doing some of these things, and you are developing a lot more self trust. I think you are relying on yourself more and trusting your own judgment and trusting whatever decision you make will lead you to the right path with this Knight of Pentacles. And I just think that is so beautiful, especially if you maybe have struggled to not get the opinions of your family or your friends. Maybe if you felt like you couldn't be independent, this is showing up to tell you that you can, and that's something that could very much be happening for you. And it's like with this situation that you're planning for, whatever it might be, if it's like going to a new job or a new location, or just starting a new endeavor, a new passion project. With this Ace of Wands, it talks about like inspiration and creativity. It talks about a new passion, something that like sort of sets your soul on fire, that you want to go after, that you feel a surge of energy towards. So whatever endeavor you're delving into, whether it be like a project or a hobby or a new home, a move, a new job, you are feeling a sort of spur of energy towards it, and it is propelling you forward in a sort of fast moving way. It's like once you get the ball rolling with these first steps, the opportunities kind of come flying in. And it feels chaotic, but in a good way, like in a more positive way to what has happened previously. And with this Empress card showing up, I'm feeling as though you are maybe connecting more with your divine feminine this month, and you are maybe stepping into a more feminine role. You do not necessarily have to identify as a female in order to connect with your feminine aspects. It is just an archetype, as I always say. It doesn't mean you are a man or you are a woman. It's like everyone has aspects of both, but the energy you're showing up in the upcoming month is maybe connecting with this Empress energy a little bit more. Maybe because you have had a lot of responsibility that's been put on you, maybe you haven't had the time to nurture yourself, to really look after yourself, to be this like motherly figure in a way, even towards yourself. And maybe that is something you are stepping into more in this upcoming month, is like connecting with those feminine aspects of yourself and really leaning into that energy. The Empress can often refer to like fertility as well. So this could refer to your literal fertility, like maybe if you're, for some reason I'm getting like about your cycle, it could be that you are leaning into learning more about your cycle. Maybe that's something you've not had time to do in the past, and maybe you've been struggling with aspects of your cycle, like, oh, why do I feel more tired at certain times of the month? And maybe that is something you're learning about and you're using that to your advantage with the Ace of Wands and the Chariot. It's like when you are at a more energetic stage of your cycle, maybe you are using that to sort of propel your energy into whatever you're doing, but perhaps you are taking more time to rest, like when you're on your period or something like that, if you have periods. Or maybe there's been like a breakthrough with your fertility. Maybe if you were dealing with health issues, maybe you weren't ovulating regularly or something like that. And maybe this month you start to ovulate again, or you start to just figure out what is happening with your cycle and when, if that is something that you are concentrating on for like procreation reasons. I don't know why this is coming through, but it could be as well that maybe in the past you could have dealt with some elements of internalized misogyny, and maybe you are learning to embrace your feminine side more, and you are not surrounding yourself with like these King of Pentacles reversed people who are chauvinistic, or maybe they are like sexist in some way. I don't know why that's coming through quite strongly. It could just be that you are learning to nurture your feminine side more, or you are appreciating the value of the feminine people in your life, whatever gender they are, that doesn't matter. But maybe you are learning to appreciate those more stereotypically feminine aspects of being. You could have been somebody in the past who maybe you weren't too comfortable expressing your feminine side. I feel like, my generation in particular, and I don't know, other people might be able to relate to this, but when we were children, like teenagers, when we were growing up, I feel like a lot of us went through this stage of, not really wanting to connect with the feminine aspects of ourselves, because everybody kind of had this not like the other girls moment due to sort of insecurity, due to the pressure that society puts on women, due to people's misogyny, essentially. A lot of us sort of went through that phase and we sort of wanted to disconnect from anything that was perceived as like feminine. And it could be that you have sort of had this moment of evolution where you have really wanted to step into your feminine power and you wanted to engage with hobbies that were typically seen as more feminine. Or maybe you're stepping into an energy of playing about with your appearance, like if you were somebody who has previously been quite androgynous or a little bit tomboyish and you thought that that was the way that you wanted to dress, but maybe you're realizing that some of it is potentially due to like misogyny from society, or like internalized misogyny. Maybe you're stepping into like a change in your appearance, like wearing more dresses or wearing more like feminine items of clothing, or experimenting with makeup, experimenting with your hair, because you genuinely want to, like you are discovering these new aspects of like your appearance and what you want to look like, and it's not shrouded in this sort of layer of misogyny and of judgment from other people. I don't know why, but I just keep thinking of like the Barbie movie. Maybe you went to see Barbie earlier this year, and maybe you were kind of inspired by some of the appearances on that film, and maybe it gave you this sort of moment of transformative clarity. And I know that sounds really weird when it's just about like the Barbie movie, but that was like a cultural moment. I'm even getting the sense of somebody who like is having this moment of clarity because maybe you went to see the Barbie movie with this partner, like this King of Pentacles reversed partner, and maybe you were already like getting a little bit fed up of them, but maybe you went to see that film together and you were talking about it afterwards and they were just like, yeah, it was crap, like I didn't get it, I didn't get the point. And you had this moment of clarity of like, shut the fuck up, Brad, it's not about you. Sorry to any Brads that are listening who aren't like that. I don't know why that name popped into my head, but yeah, maybe you were like, just shut the fuck up, Brad, it's not about you for once. And maybe something like that is the thing that like pushed you to end this relationship, to get out of that situation. Like maybe this person saying something like that just made you realize that that's not who you want to align with, that's not you. You really want to tap into the feminine aspects of yourself. And I'm not saying like Barbie represents femininity in its entirety, like I don't think it's that deep, but it was a cultural moment for people everywhere, and I think it was important to our culture. So yeah, like if that applies to you in any way, I don't know, that was just an interesting thing that came through. But yeah, that is what I'm getting with those cards. Okay, that is what I am getting for your reading, pal 2. We are just going to finish this reading by rolling the astro dice, so please bear with me. That's pal 2. I don't know whether that went off camera, but you've got first house. You've got first house. You've got the sun. You've got the sun. And you've got Leo. You've got Leo, which is very, very interesting because Leo always goes very well with the sun. Leo is associated with this sun energy, this way of shining externally, this inner confidence, this passion, this creativity. Obviously, Leo is a fire sign, so fire sign energy could be significant for you this upcoming month. You could be stepping into more of that more assertive, fiery energy in some way. This could be in terms of like making decisions and taking control of your own life and feeling a lot more confident because of it. Maybe you are somebody, maybe your ascendant is in Leo, or you have sun in your first house or something like that. And maybe when you've read about like birth charts and astrology, maybe you haven't really connected with that aspect of yourself of appearing like confident or fiery on the surface, because maybe you never feel like you've had access to that thus far. But whatever is changing for you, this situation that you have got out of and you are going into a new situation, a new way of being, whatever in whatever way that is happening, that is changing you for the better, making you more confident and making you and allowing you to really step into that energy and allowing you to be this more confident version of yourself. I think that is something that is very much happening for you, and people are going to be really noticing that, and it feels as though you are going to be stepping into this more optimistic energy with the sun in the upcoming month. Like maybe you have been in a bit of an energy of feeling as though things won't get better, or it's one thing after the other, or feeling a little bit negative about your situation. But this sun shows that you are going to be feeling a lot more positive about your life and the way that it's going. Things are going to be very much improving for you. You are going to be feeling more warmth. You are not going to be feeling this Six of Cups in reverse, like this sense of being left out in the cold or feeling like a little bit abandoned in some way. You are going to be becoming quite powerful and quite confident, and that is going to be very much showing itself in terms of how you appear to other people. So this could really benefit you in terms of like job opportunities, having an interview, or just putting a new idea with the Ace of Wands out into the world, like releasing a new creative project of some kind, or just like the way you show up for yourself at social events. You might attract more people with your optimism, your confidence, and your positivity. It kind of radiates from you, and it's something that's very much attractive. You are representing this sun energy, and people really want to bask in your warmth. That is what I am getting for you, pile 2. I really hope this reading resonated. If even one tiny detail resonated with you at all, please let me know. Please like the video, please give me a comment, and please subscribe if you get a chance. It would mean the absolute world to me. Hope you enjoyed this reading, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, pile 2. Hi, pile 3 collective. Welcome to your reading. If you chose this sage green heart, the crystal heart, this will be your reading. This reading is all about what's going to be happening for you this upcoming month. I am putting this video out in January 2024, so this reading will be in relation to February 2024. However, I set the intention that these readings will be timeless. So at whatever stage you listen to this reading, hopefully you can find something within it that applies to your situation. It doesn't matter whether you listen to the reading in February or after that, or in a completely different year. This is in relation to current energy that you are embodying and any opportunities in terms of personal development, in terms of relationships, your love life, your career, just anything and everything. We are going to cover that in this upcoming reading. So without further hesitation, pile 3, let's have a look at the card that you chose. You have number 11, Curiosity. This is such a beautiful energy, pile 3, because I'm getting that whatever stage of your life that you're currently in, the stage of life is irrelevant, your age is irrelevant, but you are embodying this sense of childlike wonder. And I get the sense that you might be somebody who is about to start really nurturing your inner child and approaching life through a lens of curiosity, like a childlike curiosity, a desire to want to uncover things, to want to know more, and not looking at this through a lens of something being like positive or negative, but just going in with a very open mind and in search of getting a new perspective on certain situations. That is really what I'm getting. And with the imagery on this card of the crow tentatively stepping foot in the house, it's like maybe you are approaching a new endeavor tentatively, but it is something that is going to really bring a lot of happiness to your life. It's something I get the sense that in this upcoming month, your focus might be on learning something new and on upgrading your skill set in some way. So it could be even something that you feel as though you've put on the back burner for years. Like maybe you have always wanted to learn a new language or something like that, and you promised yourself that you would go to classes and that you would explore that a little bit more, but maybe thus far you haven't done that. And this curiosity could be in relation to like learning a new language, to expanding your skill set, to just learning something new and different, and that allows you to continue growing as a person. It could be that you're expanding your skill set for a job, or this could just be like a hobby. For a lot of people, I'm getting that it is a hobby, like something you've sort of put to the back of your mind for a long time. Maybe it was something you were interested in as a child, because with this 11, it's making me think of like when you were 11 years old, maybe you thought one day you would try doing XYZ thing, and maybe just due to life circumstances, you grew up and you kind of forgot about that, you didn't think about it. Maybe it's rediscovering that inner child and something you really wanted to explore as a child. Maybe you're going back to that and you're actually taking the time to learn about that thing and to explore it more thoroughly. If it's like the language thing, for example, it doesn't necessarily have to be that you're physically going out to a class and like attending a class every week. It could be that maybe that's something you always wanted to do, but maybe you were reluctant to like attend classes or something like that. And maybe because we have all this access to information now and we have like apps to help us with that kind of thing, and we have like Duolingo, and I can't remember what the other one is, but there's other apps basically that can help us learn languages. Maybe it's discovering that you can really take control of that and you can tailor learning in the way that best fits you. Maybe you are finally getting the confidence. With this crow sort of very gently, very cautiously stepping foot in the house, maybe this is you finally getting the confidence to explore a new hobby that you thought might be off limits to you. Maybe previously, like, you haven't had the confidence to do it, like you felt as though, oh, I'll do it one day, but that day has never happened. Maybe this is you really taking action in this upcoming month to forefront that idea, to put that hobby into action, to look at like classes that you want to go to, or like just steps that you can make to attain that skill, to delve deeper into that hobby, to learn something new. It could even be just something as simple as like learning new recipes and maybe trying foods from different cultures. Maybe that's something you didn't experience growing up, and maybe your like taste is changing and you are learning about different foods, or you are engaging with a new lifestyle of some kind, like maybe you are experimenting with like a plant-based diet or just a different kind of diet that is making you sort of change in the way you cook or you make meals or something like that. But whatever it is, it's like you are having a lot of fun experimenting with it. That's what I'm getting. Like the word is experimentation. Whatever you're doing, you are experimenting with it and you are figuring out what works, what doesn't work, but you are having a lot of fun with it. It is something that feels very positive for you. Maybe this is in relation to actually physically traveling. Maybe you have put off traveling, or you always said, I'd go to this place and you haven't done. So maybe it's physically traveling and exploring different cultures and remaining open-minded and curious. So maybe it's in relation to, yeah, like literally going abroad, like foreign travel. Maybe you're finally visiting the places, or you're making plans to visit the places that you've always been interested in visiting. It's giving me very much like Sagittarius, like wanderer energy, like you are interested in exploring and wandering, in experimenting, in being more of a free spirit, in not necessarily seeing things as like good or bad, but you're seeing all experiences as like an opportunity to change and grow and to discover more, to learn more about life and about yourself. That is the overall overarching energy that I'm getting with this card. I don't know why this has popped into my head, but perhaps you were somebody who maybe struggled with learning at school. Like perhaps at school you weren't a very engaged student, but it's not because you weren't smart. I get the sense that you are extremely smart and you have a broad capacity to learn and to think about things, because again, I'm getting like this Sagittarius energy and like this ninth house kind of higher learning energy. So I think that you really do have the capacity to explore things beyond what other people are willing to explore. So I don't think it's a case of lack of intelligence if, you know, the school thing does apply to you. It could just be that maybe you were like a victim of the school system, in the sense that perhaps you needed a different way of engaging with information. Perhaps you needed to be exposed to a different learning style. And I think like we are learning more in terms of like every child has different needs. Maybe you are autistic or you have ADHD or something like that. You've just required a different style of learning, and perhaps you weren't given access to this. So although you were smart, it kind of made you quite disengaged from school and from an education environment. And maybe you are rediscovering that actually you do want to learn more and you do have a lot of curiosity when it comes to these certain subjects and exploring them. And maybe you are finally being given a safe space to do that with a like-minded group of people. Like if you are engaging with a community, either in person or online, that like people who want to learn the same things as you and people who maybe have a similar learning style, it could be engaging. Because I'm looking at the group of crows like over here. It's like you have support to kind of back you up and help you on this journey. So it could be that you're, discussing these matters with a community and figuring out which learning style works best for you and sort of going back and forth with other people about that. It could be that you are engaging with some form of experimentation in terms of your looks, your image, the way you present to the world. You could change your hairstyle, you could make an impulsive decision to cut off all your hair, or you could be growing your hair, like seeing how far you can grow it, remaining optimistically curious about that. You could just be changing something in terms of your appearance. Maybe you've always wanted to like dye your hair a certain colour and you haven't done it. Maybe that's something you're doing now and you're just, experimenting, like playing around with that kind of thing and like different makeup styles or something like that. Or perhaps if you were previously a person who you dressed in pants all the time or something like that, maybe you are experimenting more with fashion, like you are wearing more dresses, or the other way around, you are just changing up your look in some way. And it's not like you're looking at it through a lens of like, well, this is my look now and I have to stick to it. It's like you're playing around with different things, seeing what works best for you, but none of it's like bad and none of it's good. It just is, and you're just like leaning into those different aspects of yourself day to day, maintaining that curiosity and that room for development. It could actually be for some of you, and this might only apply to a few people, but it could be that you are experimenting with your sexuality in some way, which is a little bit spicy if you are doing that. This could be in terms of just different things that you have never tried before in the bedroom, like experimenting with things that you've always been interested in, but maybe haven't had the courage to try. And maybe that is something you're doing this upcoming month because you feel like you're in a safe relationship or something and you're able to explore that side of yourself more. Maybe it's something like that. Or it could be that, like, let's say you are bisexual or pansexual or something. It could be that you have been in a long-term relationship. Like if you are a woman, let's say, and you've been in a long-term relationship with a man for several years, and it's a monogamous relationship, so maybe you haven't been able to explore your sexuality and you haven't wanted to because you've been committed to this person, you've been focused on them. Maybe if you've come out of that relationship, you are exploring your sexuality with other people and with different genders and seeing what kind of things you like and really exploring that side of yourself and finding out more about yourself in that way. Or it could just be like in relation to remaining open-minded if you are going into the dating world again and you're meeting new people. It could just be sort of seeing dating and the opportunities that arise with that as like more neutral, and maybe you're like dating people who previously you might have thought, oh, they're not my type or something like that, or I wouldn't go out with a person who does XYZ. Maybe you're remaining more open-minded, and it's not a case of like lowering your standards or anything like that. I don't think that is the case. It's just the case of like if you have been in a long relationship, maybe you thought that you wanted one particular thing and actually you've recently discovered that that thing like isn't for you anymore. So it's just about trying new things and seeing things from a lens of curiosity rather than everything being like black and white. I can just see that with this curiosity card, you are very much embodying a very open-minded self-discovery and expansive mentality. Again, it is giving me like a lot of Sagittarius energy. So we'll have a look at what you've got with the tarot cards. But that is what I'm getting with your energy check, pile 3. I hope you are enjoying the reading so far. If it's resonating so far, please stay tuned and we will now go into the tarot portion of your reading. Okay, pile 3, let's see what we've pulled. We've got the Eight of Pentacles reversed. We've got the Five of Wands. We've got the Five of Swords. We've got the Tower. Scary. We've got the Ten of Cups reversed. We've got the Nine of Pentacles. We've got the Ace of Swords. We've got the Two of Cups. We've got the King of Wands. And we've got the Knight of Cups, pile 3. Okay, pile 3. So I'm sensing with these cards that in the not too distant past, with this Eight of Pentacles in reverse, you have very much been in this energy of feeling as though you haven't met the expectations that you thought you would meet. It's either this sense of you feeling as though you haven't been able to put your energy towards something worthwhile, and that whatever situation you're in, it somehow feels like a dead end. It might feel as though internally you know that you have this intelligence, you might have these skills, you know that there is like a version of you that wants to come out and showcase these skills, but you haven't been able to. Maybe it feels as though whatever job you're in, it feels as though it's like a dead-end job. It feels as though it's just mediocre and this isn't what you wanted for yourself. It doesn't have to be a job. It could be anything. It could be just where you're at in terms of your personal development. It feels like you're thinking, I should be further along than this. Or it could be in a relationship sense, the person that you're in a romantic partnership with, maybe they are quite low effort. Maybe you feel as though like you deserve better, like this person is mediocre. And I don't mean that in a way that anyone is like better than anyone else, but if they are not showing up for you in the way that you deserve, if they are not making effort, if they are not embodying an energy where they can grow with you and show up for you, then sometimes it does feel as though we can do better because we are doing better for ourselves and we want that to reflect in the people we interact with. It's not that, if somebody isn't currently embodying that positive energy, that means that you are better than them, because we all have the ability to grow and change. It's not like they will be stuck in that place forever. If you're going through a bad time, it's not like you'll be stuck in that place forever. But to whatever capacity, it feels like you have a sense deep down that you deserve more than what you are getting from this situation. So it could be like, you have loads to offer, like in the job you're in or something. We'll use the job thing as an example. It could be that you are clever and you know that if you were able to develop your skill set, that you could do more. Maybe you could be in a higher role. Maybe your skills aren't being utilized to the full capacity at whatever job you're in. Maybe originally, like in your interview, you were like, I can do this, this, and this, and you thought you would be doing one thing, but those skills aren't being utilized. Maybe it feels like very mediocre what you are doing. Maybe you are feeling as though like you are reassessing the role you're in, and you feel as though you're somebody who really wants to be like making a difference to the world and showing up with more variety, like showing up, displaying more skills than what you are currently able to do. It could be, I'm getting the word like menial. It could be that your job feels quite menial at the moment. You're just not happy in that current situation that you're in. It feels mediocre and it feels like there is more to be explored. It could also be that you are feeling a lack of motivation, or you have felt a lack of motivation recently. Maybe you know deep down that you are capable of doing those great things, but maybe there has been like a little bit of ego getting in the way. Like with the Five of Wands, that can sometimes talk about like ego clashes. And with this Eight of Pentacles in reverse, maybe it's like that ego, that sense of ego that you have with yourself. Maybe your ego has been blocking you, like exploring this new way of being in some way. Maybe your ego has been stopping you, like learning these new skills, for example. I don't know, maybe it's a confidence issue. Like maybe you're at the stage in your life where you feel like if you were to explore things more, if you were to be more curious, like let's say, because I'm getting like a very Sagittarius energy and like ninth house, let's say you didn't get the opportunity to go to university or something like that, and maybe you are older than like normal university age. Maybe you want to go back and pursue a degree as a mature student, but maybe there is something holding you back. Maybe you are scared like you'll be laughed at, or people will think you're weird, or people will think you're making a mistake. Maybe you've been in a lot of conflict about this with yourself. You're worried about like doing that at the stage of your life that you're in. You're worried about whether it will work out. Maybe you're worried about like finances as well. And for whatever reason, you just haven't found the motivation to apply to go to that university or something like that. There's a lot of conflict within yourself. Like maybe you're doubting whether you'll be able to do it. And maybe there's a part of you that's saying like, don't be ridiculous. You can't do that at your age. It doesn't have to be that specific example. Apply it to whichever situation you're in. But there is something that's been like holding you back. And there's been a kind of element of laziness, like not much forward progression with it. But I don't think that it's you are lazy. I think you are procrastinating due to these deeper rooted confidence issues and these clashes like with your sense of self. If it's a relationship, maybe you haven't wanted to leave a relationship. Maybe it has felt more comfortable to not uproot your life and to kind of remain stagnant in an okay or like mediocre situation rather than taking a leap of faith and moving on and like taking a risk. Maybe you've kind of been putting off the inevitable in terms of a relationship. Like perhaps if you were kind of in this stagnant relationship and it was going okay, but potentially like, I don't know, the two of you have like grown apart, that you are just not feeling this person anymore, the romantic feelings aren't there or something like that. You get this sense that there is something better for yourself to be explored elsewhere because maybe you have tried to make it work with this person and it just hasn't done. You are not like compatible anymore. You're not on the same page. And you feel as though maybe like you live together quite comfortably, but it's got to that stage where you feel more as though like you're roommates or something, or you have a friendship rather than like a true, genuine romantic partnership. Maybe that spark has gone or something. But instead of like taking the risk, you have sort of stayed in this comfortable and stagnant energy and you haven't really wanted to take a leap of faith and move on your own. Maybe that's felt like too hard work and you've been quite unmotivated to do that. It could be that in this relationship there is actually a lot of conflict. It could just be like things are stagnant, like you're in a mediocre relationship and you feel as though there's better out there for you, for someone who's more compatible. But it could also be that there is a lot of conflict in this relationship. There's been a lot of fights. I'm getting like with the Five of Wands and the Five of Swords, these cards can both indicate conflict of some kind. The Five of Wands is obviously like a fiery energy. This could represent, like, again, as we said, an internal battle, or it could be with somebody or something external. It could be like if you are in a relationship or you have been in a partnership of some kind. It could be that you have been in that partnership for a long time, and perhaps because you are a person who is very open-minded and like willing to grow, and you are stepping into this more explorative energy, perhaps this person isn't on the same page as you in that sense. And perhaps this has caused a lot of argument, a lot of conflicts, because maybe they kind of won't meet you halfway. Maybe you are somebody who like you want to explore new things. You've got to the stage in your life where you feel like it's now or never. Like if I don't do this now, I might never do it. And that has really propelled you forward. And that is the thing that in this upcoming month, that is one of the reasons you're going to be changing. You're going to be forcing yourself to change, even though you might feel unmotivated, even though it might feel uncomfortable at times. You're going to try to force this change, but it could be that you were like forcing another person to change and they weren't willing. It could be something as simple as like you wanted you and your partner to try new things, and maybe it was out of their comfort zone, and possibly it was out of yours as well, but you forced yourself to take those steps to do something that you were interested in, and maybe that's not something your partner was willing to do, and perhaps like you tried to compromise on this, but it just wasn't working. They would not even meet you halfway. They would not try like even the most sort of basic of thing. And I understand like not everything is for everyone. Like there's certain hobbies that I wouldn't want to do, there's certain hobbies that you wouldn't want to do, and it's like a hard no. But I feel like when you have relationships with other people, whether they be like romantic partnerships or friendships, you do have to kind of meet people halfway. And if you're coming to a partner and you're saying like, I want to try this, like I'm fed up of being in the house every single night, can we try something different this time? I feel as though that is not too much to ask for. Like, you're not asking them to go and jump out of a plane with you or something like that. I mean, that could be something like with this energy, that could be something that you would want to try. You could be a little bit of a risk taker, or like in the upcoming month, you're maybe stepping into that energy where you're like, you know what, like I would try this slightly more daring thing. You would like be courageous in that way and try something that's very, very new to you. But I'm not saying like it has to be that, and I don't think you would try to force that on another person. It's not that. It could just be like something minimal that you're asking for, like, can we do something different by going on like more date nights? And it could be like you suggested something of their choosing, but they were not willing to meet you halfway, and this was causing a lot of conflict between you. It could be a clash of ego with somebody in a work situation. Like maybe you are frustrated because you feel as though this person is trying to almost bully you, like trying to be intimidating, like fighting with you at every opportunity, like over a disagreement at work. And maybe they're treating you as though like you aren't skilled enough to be contributing to that conversation. And maybe they're treating you as though you're not worthy of a discussion, and they're not taking your ideas on board because they don't think you have the like skill set to back that up. But you know deep down that you do. You know that your ideas would be for the benefit of making the workplace better. You know that you would be more than capable of taking on these certain roles, but maybe this person is like taking that away from you. They're not allowing you to like step into that power and to shine through taking on those roles because they just don't think that you're capable of it. And this is just causing a lot of conflict because you know that you are capable of it deep down, and this person is not they're not giving you the energy you deserve, essentially, and it's just causing you a lot of headaches. It could be like physical headaches. That could be why that came through. I'm just looking at this gentleman holding his head, and it just made me think of headaches, but it could be that you are experiencing a lot of headaches, a lot of pain in your head, a lot of like migraines due to the stress and due to the conflict with this person or this thing. It could feel as though you are constantly fighting to like show your best self and show people that you do have these skills, that you are capable of doing this particular role, and people are not seeing it, and it feels quite difficult to cope with. I'm getting the sense of like maybe you are applying for jobs and you're being treated as though you're not skilled enough to do the role when really you know that you could do it. Maybe it even feels like you've been rejected from like mediocre jobs in the past that you are more than capable of doing, and this is quite frustrating. You feel as though there's a sense of competition with other people, like other people are being given roles that you're more than capable of doing or something like that. I feel like whatever this tower moment was, and that this could really be anything, but whatever, it's less about the moment and what actually happened, but it's more about the perspective shift that came with it, because it could have been that at one point you were more in this like Eight of Pentacles energy of, you know, not really being motivated enough to make change for yourself and to do certain things. Maybe you were in more of an energy of being a bit lazy with like your self-development and how you want to show up in the world. And this tower moment, it's like it shifted your perspective entirely, and you are really starting to see things from a new light. And in this upcoming month, that is going to be where a lot of the change takes place. A lot of this exploration, this curiosity, this kind of new lease of life in a way is coming from this tower moment that's happened. It could be that you've reached a certain stage of life and you are just reassessing everything. It could be like the breakdown of a relationship or a marriage. It could be a job coming to an end, or it could literally be like you've been through a health scare or like a life or death situation, and everything has been put into perspective. Everything that you thought was important is maybe becoming less important, and you've realized the importance on exploring the things that you want to do more and remaining curious about things. you are finally getting the courage to like step up and take action and do some of these things that you have put off for quite a long time. I feel like that's something that's going to be happening for you in the upcoming month, because whatever this tower moment is, it's completely shifted your perspective on what you wanted to do and the things you wanted to learn. And if it is like a health scare or something like that, maybe there is this sense of you thinking like, well, it's now or never, like I've put it off for this long and I want to do this now because who knows how much time we've got or something like that. Maybe it's really like shifted your mentality in a very positive way, although perhaps it didn't feel positive at the time. It could be that you've been through this sort of big, you know, everything coming crumbling down, this sort of shattering moment, if it was like the end of your marriage or like a relationship of some kind, or maybe even just like I'm like hearing that you heard about somebody's passing, like you heard about somebody passing away, and maybe it was somebody quite young or like somebody at the same age as you, and you thought, well, wow, like you just don't realize how much like time we've got and we have to make the most of it and we have to make these changes that are going to benefit ourselves. Something like that. It could have been something as small as like somebody at work saying, oh, did you hear that such body had passed away, and you finding out more about that, and that incident really shifting your perspective and making you really reassess things and how you want to proceed with your life going forward. It could be that there has been like some anger in this situation. I'm getting, again, like I keep getting Sagittarius energy, but are you somebody, pile three, who sometimes gets in trouble for your tongue, your words? Are you somebody who maybe sometimes rushes into saying something and then regrets it? Because I'm getting like a little element of that in some way, and maybe that's something you are working on. It could be that you are somebody who finds yourself in conflicts quite easily and you don't really know. So maybe this is you, like, because we do have the Two of Cups later on, which I will go into, but maybe this is you learning more about how to handle your emotions, how to handle your anger. Maybe you are doing some kind of therapy or you are engaging with that. You are finding new methods of communicating that don't end in conflict. And this is really helping you better yourself and become more diplomatic, more of that like mediator, more somebody who can show up in like a fair and balanced way. Maybe that's something that's quite new to you, but you're learning to like adjust to being more in that energy than like being in a argumentative energy of some kind. If you do have heavy Sagittarius placements, I know that you could probably rip someone to shreds if you wanted to. And I know that sometimes Sagittarius, they can be like a little bit reckless and sometimes say things that are quite cutting without thinking. Like you don't hold back from the truth if you have heavy Sagittarius. And I'm not calling you out with that. Like I have heavy Sagittarius in my chart too. I am a Sagittarius Venus and a Sagittarius Mercury. However, I don't have like the same courage as like a Sagittarius sun or a Sagittarius rising. So I think I can be like a little bit more reserved in that way. And I think it's probably because like I have a Mars in Cancer as well. So I can be a little bit anti-conflict. Like I'm a little bit scared of conflict and I can be a bit passive in my reactions to things. Like I think I'm sometimes a bit too much of a people pleaser, but I am not putting that Sagittarius energy down because I know with my Sagittarius energy what I am capable of if I wanted to say some things, if I did have the courage to say some things. I know that it could hurt people's feelings, and I know that other like Sagittarius dominant people are quite similar, and especially if it like shines more externally for you, like if you're a Sag sun or like a rising, or you just have it somewhere prominently in your chart, then I know that you are capable of that, and you might be quite bold with it. You might be quite unafraid, like unapologetic to say what you think. And maybe this is something that's landed you in some difficult situations, some conflict. Maybe you have ended up in like some physical altercations before because you aren't afraid to speak your truth. Maybe somebody has got like offended by your truth and they have started an actual altercation and you have had to like put them in their place. You've had to like throw hands. And obviously I'm not like encouraging that in any way. It's just like I'm getting the sense that you do know how to like stick up for yourself. That is something that I'm feeling. So it's actually quite surprising that you do battle some of these confidence issues, because I don't think it necessarily comes across that way from an external perspective, but it just goes to show that you don't know, what's going on for somebody internally, and anyone can battle these issues. I think from an outside perspective, people might think that you don't really doubt yourself, that you just say what you want to say, and that is that, and you speak your truth. But really, there could be like something that you've been ignoring in your own life and putting off, and this tower moment really makes that situation the forefront of your mind, and like it makes you want to create this change for yourself. With the Ten of Cups in reverse, this could refer to like an unhappy home. There could have been some conflict in your home life. This could be a separation, something that you thought would make you happy, would make you feel fulfilled. You found that that isn't the case. You're not feeling that way, and it's about like feeling unhappy. So you could have felt very unhappy in your domestic situation in the past few months, and you wanted something to change with that. If you're not in like a partnership, but you live with other people, you live with family members or a roommate or like friends, like you live with somebody else, it could just be conflict with that person. And maybe there's been some conflict over like if you are exploring something, like you're exploring your sexuality, let's say, maybe there's been some conflict with that, like maybe your family don't approve of that also. I don't know why I'm getting that. I mean, I'd like to think that nobody is like that anymore, but I know that some people still are, unfortunately. So maybe you come from a family who isn't very respectful of like other sexualities or other expressions of gender identity, and maybe if that is something you are exploring, maybe there's been like a little bit of pushback from your family or from the people you live with, and that has created this conflict and this sense of an unhappy home life in some way. Maybe the people you live with have quite outdated views, and maybe this has caused like a lot of aggression and a lot of hostility between you and the people who you reside with. And maybe you have felt like restricted because of that. Maybe you felt like you can't really explore these particular sides of yourself or of learning new things because you're worried about what people will say, how they will react, because you know what these people are like and that maybe they don't accept certain things. But the tower, like, although it felt hard, it's like whatever this situation was, whichever thing applies to you, it's like this situation has come to a head and it's made you see things in a new light. It's made you shift perspectives completely. And with that has come a lot of freedom in terms of you being able to express yourself, in terms of you being able to put your best foot forward and actually make positive changes in your life. With this Ace of Swords, potentially like you've had a breakthrough in terms of mental clarity. It's like a truth has been revealed, something has come to light. It could have come with this tower moment. That's when, this moment of clarity could have hit you and it's made you see things from a different perspective. But either way, in this upcoming month, you're going to be seeing things from a bigger picture. With this King of Wands, you are becoming a lot more fearless this upcoming month. You are taking ownership of your own life. You're taking accountability. If you were ever in this like slightly unmotivated or lazy Eight of Pentacles reversed energy, you are fully coming out of that in this upcoming month. You are making your own decisions and taking action in your own life in order to achieve the things you want to achieve. It's like this, whatever moment of clarity this is, it gives you the confidence and the desire to push forward and really step into this very confident energy, this assertive energy. And if you are somebody who has maybe been like worried about being in conflict with people over these decisions you have made, it's like you aren't bothered about that anymore. With the imagery on this card, it could be that you have someone in your life who is trying to force you into their way of seeing things, of seeing the world, and you are being more fearless in terms of you are sticking up for yourself and your own opinions, and you are approaching the world and taking action the best way that you see fit, and you are not bothered if it gets you into conflict with this person, because this lion is looking at this man like, you better watch yourself. Like, if you do this, I'm gonna come and rip your throat out, essentially. Like, obviously, that's not going to apply to like a situation with another human, I would hope anyway, but that is what this lion is looking at the man like. But that is the energy the lion is giving. But this man is looking forward. This man's looking forward. He's focused. He's not focused on this lion. He's focused on looking forward. And that is you looking at the future and holding a torch for yourself, like looking at the opportunities that you could potentially step into and taking positive action towards that. It's like you don't care if the lion's going to come and eat you. You know that that lion won't catch up with you. It's like you know that you can outrun the lion because you are stepping up into this like boss leadership sort of energy and taking action in your own life by exploring the new things that you want to explore. Now, it might not necessarily be that like somebody is telling you that you can't do XYZ. It could just be a little voice in the back of your head that's telling you, oh, well, you can't do XYZ because of this. Or it could be like a family member that sort of planted ideas in your mind about doing a certain thing, or like a partner has discouraged you from doing something that you really want to do, from participating in an activity that you really want to explore because of their own sort of narrow-minded views on it. It could be like you want to go traveling, let's say, and somebody who you're talking to has tried to discourage you. It's like they've told you not to go to that country because you're going to have a bad experience, but you now know that that person, it was just trying to keep you small. They were just trying to keep you in line for their own benefit. And you are realizing that you can trust your own judgment. And you have expanded your consciousness so much with this Ace of Swords that you know that you can rely on yourself and your own judgment. You don't necessarily have to listen to other people for guidance when it's unwarranted. I think that's the thing. Like, you know the value of asking for people's opinions, but you're not going to rely on it for your sense of self-security. You get that from within, and it's lighting up the way in terms of like leading your path forward and what you're going to do next and the things you would like to explore and achieve and the things you would like to learn. Because I'm getting with this Nine of Pentacles in particular, you are going to be learning so much and developing your skills so much to the point where you are going to be reaching a place of utter like confidence and feeling very successful in the things that you have achieved. Nine of Pentacles can represent like rewarded efforts and achievement. So it could be that, like, let's use the example from the beginning that you want to do a degree at university. It could be that you're going in like doubting yourself a little bit and like whether you'll be able to finish the course, whether you'll be able to get a certain grade. It could be that like in this upcoming month, you're making the first steps towards that and you are being rewarded for your efforts. So let's say like if you are applying for uni or you're applying for a job or something, you could do like a really amazing application or like a cover letter and you could be commended about this, and it just goes to show like what you are capable of within a short space of time and just how much you could grow in the future if you kind of stick with that energy and have more faith in yourself. It could be that the little steps you're taking now really put you on that trajectory towards success, and that is something that's very much going to be changing in the upcoming months. You're making the first steps for it, you're making the plans like this upcoming month, and then things only snowball from there, things only develop. You are able to expose more of your skills. It could be that you are like completing a course. Maybe you are coming to the end of a course and you were worried you wouldn't get the grade, you were worried you wouldn't pass. It could even be like your driving test or your theory test or something like that. But it could just be like acquiring a certain skill of some kind and you're worried that you won't get it. Maybe this month you find out you got it and you found out you did really well. And that just puts more positive growth into motion for you because you're thinking, well, if I can do that, like what else can I achieve? And you know, that just puts you on a really positive path of being willing to explore more and to remain curious and open-minded and not think negatively about life, or not, you know, expect that the worst case scenario will happen just because that might have been the case for you in the past, in previous situations. This Two of Cups could mean that there is a new romantic opportunity for you on the horizon. If you are already in a committed partnership and you're willing to work on that, it doesn't have to be that it's a new person, but it could just be that you and this person, if it is a long-term relationship or like a relationship you're already in, this month you could be meeting more in the middle. You could be in harmony with one another a little bit more than what you have been, because if there has been conflict, it could be like you and this person learning to cooperate more, learning to discuss things in a civilized way and not get into conflicts quite as easily. It could, like with this Eight of Pentacles at the beginning, it could even be that maybe you rushed into a relationship in terms of like moving in with somebody or getting married quite quickly or something like that. And maybe there was like this period of adjustment and it caused a lot of conflict because perhaps like you lived on your own and now this person lives with you and you weren't used to that and you had to get used to each other or something like that. It could be that in this upcoming month you are really connecting and you are a united front. And the two of you have developed your sense of empathy for each other. You are learning to adjust to this new way of life. You are learning to work together harmoniously or something like that. Or it could just be that, if you are exploring something with somebody new, maybe you meet somebody whilst dating who you feel really connected with and you feel as though this could really be something. They are somebody who their beliefs align with yours. And maybe this sort of development you have had in terms of like your beliefs or in terms of learning, maybe this is somebody who you meet through that experience. Like if you go to a language class or something, maybe it's somebody you meet there and you realize that this person's beliefs really align with yours. It could even just be like a friendship, but it could be romantic. And especially the thing that I was getting earlier in the oracle card about, their being a bit of an exploration of your sexuality or something like that. It could be the case that you are trying new things with this person who feels safe and feels aligned with you. And with this Knight of Cups, again, this could refer to a romantic situation. It could be that the person you are in a partnership with is showing up more in this Knight of Cups energy. There is this balanced sense between their head and their heart. They can show up for you as somebody to offer you advice. I see that maybe this upcoming month you're not going to be in this energy of constantly getting into conflicts, if that has been the case for you. Maybe both you and your partner are changing and you're getting into more of this diplomatic mentality. Maybe it feels as though you can finally like have a civilized discussion with this person if that has not been the case previously. Or it could just be that you are approaching the world in a more balanced way and you are learning to have better analysis in terms of debating things between your head and your heart. It could just be that you are learning to communicate more in a diplomatic way. You are being that mediator. You are showing up for other people in a way that doesn't, necessarily cause conflict, that maybe isn't as fiery, that is more in touch with your emotions and your emotional intelligence. Perhaps that is something that is developing for you over this upcoming month with the new knowledge that you've taken on board and learned. It could be that if you've had conflict with like a romantic partner in the way that you don't feel like they've been stepping up for you, maybe you don't feel as though they're taking your ideas on board, they have been like unwilling to change or something like that, or unwilling to try experimenting with the things that you would like to experiment with, the things that you have put forward. It could be that this person is offering you a new level of devotion by actually showing up for you and, they're devoted to making this work with you and therefore they're going to be showing up in a different energy. They're going to be more willing to make more effort in that way. But overall, I'm just seeing a lot of positive energy in terms of change, in terms of you developing, in terms of your self-growth, in terms of you like exploring yourself and the world around you more. So these are all things to look forward to in the upcoming month, Pile 3. We are just going to finish by doing a roll of the Astro dice. So please just bear with me while I roll those. Pile 3 collective. Okay, so we have the Sun, which is interesting because when I rolled the Astro dice in Pile 2, we also got the Sun. So we've got the Sun, we've got the 6th house, and we've got Virgo. So yeah, with this Sun, I am feeling Pile 3 as though you really are developing this sense of self-confidence. People might have always thought of you as a confident person. That could be how you appear externally. However, I think with the Sun showing up in this reading, it is maybe more indicating that you are really feeling that sense of inner self-confidence, and maybe as well, like with all the cards we're getting in relation to conflict, It could be like you choosing this month to step up as the better person and to purposely not engage with conflict. Maybe before you were easily like riled up or drawn in by people trying to create conflict with you, trying to create hostility, and you are realizing because of all these things that you've learned, you are realizing that you don't have to be in that energy. You don't have to be in an energy that is getting you worked up, that is making you angry. You can be the bigger person by stepping away from conflicts, by not engaging with that kind of thing. You don't want to be in an energy of being defensive. You are putting your best foot forward and trying to grow and step up in a more positive way. With the Sun card, I'm also getting that like travel again, like maybe you could be traveling somewhere that is currently experiencing a lot of sun. Maybe you could be going to a hot climate. Maybe you could be going on like a sort of sabbatical, or maybe that could be something that you're interested in or you want to start planning for in this upcoming month. Or it could be that you're literally going away this upcoming month and you're traveling to somewhere sunny. With this Virgo, it could be that you're stepping into like more of your earth energy and you are really accessing this energy of being more analytical. Like maybe if you have a lot of fiery energy or fire is a prominent placement in your chart, potentially you do have the capacity to get worked up quite easily or to be impatient or to make hasty decisions, either with yourself or with other people, like the external world. And maybe this Virgo is showing up to help assist you in being more steady, more patient, and approaching things in a more analytical way, and maybe not having as many harsh judgments about yourself or about other people. Maybe it's teaching you to kind of see things from a more analytical lens, a more practical lens. It's interesting that we got like Virgo and the sixth house as well, because obviously Virgo rules the sixth house and it is very comfortable there. So it could be that you are stepping into this energy of having more motivation for yourself by adhering to a routine. Maybe that was something you were not motivated to do in the not so distant past, and perhaps now you are getting this surge of motivation. It could be because the sixth house is a house of like health. It talks about habits and routines. It could be that because of like this tower moment, if that was a health scare or something like that, it could be that that has triggered this new sense of like motivation towards your routine and for establishing a routine for yourself and sticking consistently to better habits. Maybe you had this moment of clarity with the Ace of Swords and like the Tower, because you were like, oh my gosh, like I've had this health scare, I could have lost everything, and I'm really going to commit to this new way of being. And I've said in the past that I'm going to commit to routines and I haven't done, but maybe you really are committing to a new routine and you have a surge of motivation for it like never before. And it feels quite reassuring because it feels as though you are finally like taking control of your life and making a positive decision for yourself to better your health or something like that. That is what I am getting for you, Pal 3. I hope the reading resonated. If even one tiny little bit of the reading resonated, please like the video, please give me a comment, and please, if possible, subscribe. All of that would help me so much, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Pal 3. I'll see you in the next one. Hi, Pile 4 Collective. Welcome to your reading. If you chose this clear crystal heart, this will be your reading. So this reading will be focused on the upcoming month. I'm recording this in January 2024, so this is intended to be for February 2024. However, I set the intention that these readings are timeless, so whenever the reading finds you, that is the time that the messages are for you, and it is absolutely fine to listen to the reading whatever week, month, year it is for you. This reading is timeless, so feel free to listen to it whenever. As usual, we are going to start with an oracle reading. So we are going to look at this one oracle card, and that will be an overall energy check of the energy that you'll be stepping into this upcoming month. And then the next portion will be a tarot reading, and we will finish by rolling the astro dice.
So we're going to be looking at new opportunities that are heading your way this upcoming month. These could be romance opportunities, love opportunities, social opportunities, career opportunities, personal development opportunities, anything and everything. We are just going to have a look at the overarching energy. So without further hesitation, let's have a look at the pile you chose, pile 4. Okay, pile 4, we have number 19, freedom. So pile 4, this upcoming month, I think you are very much going to be feeling this sense of freedom. You are going to be feeling less restricted, more free in whatever way that means to you. This could be something as simple as you taking some time off work. If you're in a full-time job or you're in a career that is quite demanding, this could be you having some freedom by taking some well-deserved rest, some well-deserved time off. It could be freedom in terms of you going like traveling, actually going physically to a new place and exploring. Maybe you are having a well-deserved holiday, a well-deserved rest, a well-deserved break, and that is giving you this sense of freedom. You are finding that it's nice to, go and get out in the world if you are traveling, or even if you're not, you are loving the freedom you have in terms of like being off work or being away from a certain situation. It could be that you're still at work, but maybe you're feeling more freedom in the sense that the load has been lightened or something like that. Maybe if you've experienced a really busy time at work over Christmas, maybe it feels like that is slowing down a little bit more now. So maybe it feels as though you have more free time. You have more time to engage with your hobbies. Maybe you're not doing as much overtime at work. Maybe your job has changed recently and now you can work from home more or something like that. And that is providing like more of a work-life balance, more freedom in that sense. This could also refer to freedom in the sense of escaping a situation that made you feel as though you were trapped in some way. Potentially, this could be leaving a relationship that wasn't serving you. It could be ending a friendship that you feel is taking too much from you, that you felt restricted by in some way. It could just refer to reaching a stage in your life where you are free to engage with leisure activities more, or you are free to explore more parts of yourself, or you are being given the freedom to tap into a new stage of your life. So, for example, if at one point you were struggling with like financial insecurity or something like that, perhaps you have been working on your savings and you now feel at the stage where you can spend some of that money and put it towards something that you want to do. It could be a project that you've always wanted to do and you are feeling that sense of freedom. You're feeling like you're able to invest into that, to put some money into that with what you have managed to save, with feeling more stable financially. It could be that you are able to put that money towards a new place to live. It could be that you felt trapped by circumstance at certain points. So potentially, let's say if you like want to start a family or something like that, maybe you were feeling as though you couldn't afford to do that. Maybe you were feeling as though you weren't stable enough materially or financially to do that. So it could be escaping that situation or that mentality. It could feel as though you are finally free to explore the life that you would like to explore in some way. I'm also getting the phrase like self-limiting beliefs and impositions put on you by other people. So it could be that you are accessing this freedom by being more true to yourself and stepping into a more authentic version of yourself and not letting other people's beliefs or opinions shatter your ability to show up authentically and genuinely as yourself. It could be something like that. It could be that you have a part of you that's been kind of hidden and now you are freeing yourself from that self-imposed prison, in the sense that you are showing all of you, the real and vulnerable versions of you, and you are not afraid anymore of what other people will say or think. You are feeling free to show up authentically and to express yourself. With the imagery on this card, I'm getting like, this is you, and maybe these are the people or the situations around you that were placing a restriction on you. And I'm getting that maybe at one stage you felt as though you were trapped on this branch down here with all these people or these situations that you felt were trapping you. So maybe these other crows can represent like
financial insecurity, other people's opinions, other people's comments, other people's projections, or something like that. It doesn't have to be exactly that, but it's like representative of the things that were keeping you down, the things that were keeping you repressed, that were making you feel as though you were in this prison. But it's like, I'm getting the phrase, it was kind of a prison of your own making. So maybe you were like scared to fully express yourself, but now nothing is holding you back and you are feeling a lot more free. You are feeling able to go after what you want and to be the person you would like to be. So that is what I am getting for you with your oracle reading, Pile 4. We are going to get into the tarot portion of your reading now. I hope that this is resonating so far. If it is, please stay tuned and I'll catch up with you in the tarot portion of your reading. Okay, Pile 4, let's have a look at the cards we got for you. We have got the Eight of Swords, the Three of Pentacles reversed. We have got the Five of Cups. We have got the Four of Pentacles. We've got the Star. We have got the Emperor. We've got the Queen of Wands. We've got the Nine of Pentacles. That I think showed up in the last reading, so that's interesting. We've got the Lovers. And we've got the Knight of Wands. Okay, let me just double check that all of the cards are in frame. Please bear with me, Pile 4. Okay, I'm finding it so interesting, Pile 4, that you got the Eight of Swords showing up in your reading, because this card in particular, like, it's even got the birds on it, it's got like the crows on it, so it's making me think of even like the oracle card you got, where something about your situation in the not so distant past, you were feeling trapped, you were feeling restricted, but I'm getting as well that it was almost like a prison of your own making. I keep getting that phrase. It's like she can help herself, she can escape this situation if she would like, but she feels paralyzed by it, she feels helpless, she feels powerless in some way, and that is what I'm getting that maybe you've been through recently, like maybe in recent months, you felt as though you can't change this situation that you're in, and you're not like seeing, or you haven't been seeing the bigger picture surrounding these circumstances, you haven't been seeing that you are able to change things and step up for yourself. Like, the imagery on this card is just reminding me of the oracle card in the sense that, like, this is you, and maybe these things that you feel trapped by, like these birds in this particular card, let's say, these are things that you could bat off if you wanted to, you could get past them. So things like, for example, you not being able to do something because of other people's beliefs, other people's opinions, other people's projections, blah, 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 something like that. You can get past that. You could just flick your hand and smash that right off if you wanted to. I mean, I'm not advocating for like smashing a bird, like an actual bird, but you don't have to be victim to these things. They are not keeping you in a prison. It is the rope that you've wrapped around yourself that is keeping you in a prison, but you are ultimately the only one that can change it. And I think in this upcoming month, that is something that you are discovering due to like what you have been through recently. I feel as though with this Five of Cups, you have been quite disappointed with something recently. There is this sense of you having felt like you've been let down, and to some degree, like maybe you feel as though you have let yourself down. Like you have not taken all the opportunities you wanted to take, and maybe it's left you feeling a little bit bereft. It's left you like mourning what could have been. Maybe you've been feeling, with the Three of Pentacles in reverse, like a little bit of apathy, a loss of motivation in terms of going after what you want, because maybe you've been in this state of sort of thinking, well, you know, I've been trying to do X, Y, Z, and so far it's amounting to nothing. I feel restricted. I feel like I don't have the freedom to progress with whatever I want to do. And a part of you feels as though like you are letting yourself down by not being able to do certain things. It could be something as simple as like a group of your friends are going traveling, and maybe you just don't feel like you have the financial resources to go with them. Like maybe you really want to, but you're feeling this sense of being like let down because you're sad that they've gone without you and you can't do that or something like that. But I get that whatever the situation is, to some degree, it could have been like a prison of your own making, going back to that phrase. Like, it could be that if you really wanted to go out and do this thing, that you could have done it, but you almost held yourself back. It could have been that you were worried about like material resources with the Four of Pentacles. This can sometimes indicate like stinginess with money, like hoarding, like just having more of a mentality of scarcity when it comes to finances or something like that. And I know that, financially, these past few years have been very tough on everyone, and it could very well be that you do not have the financial resources to be able to do certain things, and that has made you feel a little bit apathetic and a little bit let down because maybe you're feeling like, oh my gosh, like I can literally only afford to put food on the table to pay my bills, but I can't really afford to engage with leisure activities. I can't afford to do XYZ. I can't afford to go traveling. And maybe that's got you feeling quite apathetic and quite, trapped, like restricted, as though you're powerless. And I'm not here to give financial advice. I'm not capable of that. And that is not what I want to do with this reading. But to some degree, it feels as though maybe you have like miscalculated, like you're being stingy, perhaps due to like past trauma surrounding money rather than like an actual lack of financial resources. So it could be that maybe you grew up with a scarcity mentality when it came to finances. Maybe you grew up in a home where bills were not able to be paid. Maybe there wasn't always food on the table. And maybe this kind of put you in an energy at one point of feeling as though you had to hoard money and feeling as though you can never sort of spend money on things you might enjoy because your focus should just be like paying the bills and putting food on the table. Maybe you felt like you couldn't focus on anything else because you thought that if you splashed out on something, if you treated yourself in some way, that it would lead to you being without any of that stability. Maybe there is like an element of stinginess with you because of that. However, it doesn't necessarily have to be anything financial. It could just be that you feel trapped by yourself, like by your own identity. It could be that you are putting too much stock in other people's opinions of what you are like. Maybe you feel sort of set and rigid in the role that you play now in society. However, you show up as a partner or a colleague or a friend, maybe you feel very set in that role because of what other people have put onto you, and maybe you feel as though you can't escape the responsibility that comes with being that person. Maybe you feel as though you can't be true to yourself because of what other people around you would think. Maybe you are scared about potential repercussions if you were to be the version of yourself that deep down you want to be. Maybe there is something about you that's actually quite unconventional, and I feel as though this is potentially something that you are going to be exploring in the upcoming month. With this star card, that's like Aquarius energy, so it feels as though there is something about you that's very unique, very innovative, and quite unconventional, and maybe you are scared of putting, oh, it could even be like an idea for a project, or like maybe you are thinking of starting a business and it's something quite unconventional with this star card. Maybe it could be something to do with like healing or like naturopathic remedies or something like that. I don't know why I'm getting that, but it just made me think because like the star is often associated with that element of healing and rejuvenation. It could be that you're going down like an unconventional path of healing and you're worried what people will say or think if you put that idea into the limelight. Maybe you're concerned about people's projections, but this is a self-limiting belief. It's a self-imposed, like prison of your own making, because you have so much unique perspective to offer, but you are feeling a little bit paralyzed. You've been feeling a little bit powerless when it comes to this, but I feel as though you are stepping out of that energy and you are stepping into more of your true self with this star card that's coming up. If you have already put an idea out there, or like you've started a business or something like that, and you are doubting whether it will be successful, with the Nine of Pentacles showing up, I'm feeling as though you are going to get some kind of recognition for all your hard work. that might be something that's happening for you in the upcoming month. You're going to get like a little spur of encouragement for you to keep going with whatever this is due to this Nine of Pentacles, because maybe that's not something that you've had thus far. Maybe you feel like, oh, I've been putting all my energy, all my resources into this one situation, and I'm not really getting any material reward for it, or I'm not getting like any recognition for it. Maybe you're feeling as though you're going to have to stop doing what you're doing because you've put some of your savings into this project and nothing is materializing. So I'm seeing this month that with the Nine of Pentacles, something could actually be materializing for you, which spurs you on. It could be for the first time since you started engaging with this project. Maybe you're making a profit instead of just breaking even, or maybe you're breaking even instead of making a loss or something like that. Or it could just be that you are getting feedback from other people. Maybe other people in your life have like doubted you when it comes to this project. Maybe you've had pushback from like family or friends telling you, like advising you with all good intentions, but maybe not giving you the best advice. Maybe they're advising you not to go down this path. And you're starting to doubt yourself because you're thinking, well, maybe they were right. Like I've invested so much energy into this and I've not got anything to show for it. But maybe people are really reaching out to you now to compliment you, to praise you on this idea, to give you the recognition that you deserve or something like that. That could be something that's happening in the upcoming months, is that people are maybe reaching out to you regarding this project and they're telling you, you know what, this is such a good idea, like I wish I'd have thought of this. And they might be really telling you how much you have helped them with this project, and that gives you like a new lease of life when it comes to this, and it spurs you on into like keeping going. Maybe at certain points you were feeling very trapped and feeling like giving up, feeling like, oh, should I just cut my losses? Should I just like end this? Should I just go a different route? And maybe this is giving you the confirmation that you need, that you don't have to go this different route. You just need to keep stepping up into your power, keep showing up for yourself, and keep going with this energy because it is leading to some kind of success in a material way. And with that, you are accessing more freedom. Maybe it's like you're finally getting the financial rewards that you deserve, and that is allowing you to be more free. Like maybe that's allowing you the freedom to go on a holiday if you want to go on a holiday, or to go out more, or to treat yourself to new clothes, or to engage with more leisure activities because you can afford to pursue your hobbies. Maybe it's awarding you more free time or something like that. It's something very physical that feels as though it's very much needed because you've been in this energy of doubt regarding this situation, but something is coming to fruition to show you that, you know, you are on the right path, and going down a unique or more unconventional path doesn't necessarily mean that you are in the wrong place. You might feel out of place if you feel like you're different, but it doesn't mean that you're doing the wrong thing. In fact, what you are doing feels very, very right for you. And if you are somebody who is accessing this sense of freedom by stepping into a more authentic version of yourself, with this Queen of Swords, I feel as though this is something that people are really going to be noticing. It's like you have just blossomed. As you are growing and developing and you're stepping into this new version of you, people really feel as though you have blossomed and you now have more of an ability to like light up a room. It's like people are seeing you as very charismatic, able to talk to anyone, very vivacious. Maybe if you're not somebody who usually comes across as like a self-assured or confident person, this sort of thing with the Nine of Pentacles that spurs you on, that's making you, it's helping you grow into this more confident person, and people are really noticing that, and they're having more trust in you and your ideas, your projects, because of this energy, because you seem like somebody who so knows what they are doing and who they are in life. Being this more authentic version of yourself and not holding back, not being afraid to showcase your vulnerabilities, if that applies to you, it is really making people see you as this shining ray of light. With all the colors on this cards, I'm getting like shining ray of light, and somebody who offers hope, healing, and rejuvenation, but who does so in a very kind of relatable way. So it could be like advocating for something on social media, or like talking about issues in a kind of accessible way and really engaging with people in that sense. And I feel like this little bit of material success that in some way that you might be getting in the upcoming month, it's making you a more powerful version of you. It's allowing you to focus more on the things that matter for you, and it's allowing you to propel yourself forward to show up as this leader, which will ultimately lead to this sense of freedom. Maybe you felt as though you have been very focused and you've been very disciplined, you've been in your emperor energy, and you're feeling as though it's not amounting to much, but it will. It's going to lead, all this work that you've put into this situation is going to lead to this sense of freedom. It's going to help propel you towards this freedom and towards this ability to, enjoy more of your leisure time if you don't get much of that at the moment, something like that. And with this sense of freedom, I feel as though if this is a case of like an internal struggle and you feeling trapped in a certain way due to a situation of your own making, this Lovers card could indicate that you are really coming into balance and unity with yourself as a person. The Lovers card can sometimes talk about choices, so it could be that at one stage maybe you were doubting a choice to go down a particular route, and this Lovers card is offering you this sense of freedom in the way that actually you're stepping back and you're seeing like, no, this was the right choice. I've had this confirmation with the Nine of Pentacles. I feel in my Queen of Wands energy, and therefore I now know that this was the best choice for me, and this is something that is able to allow me some kind of freedom. It could be that, maybe you haven't been able to spend time with your significant other or like with a close friend or something like that. Maybe that has been kind of put on the back burner, the relationships in your life. Maybe you felt as though you had to focus on like a business project or something with a career. Maybe you felt as though you couldn't access this like sort of harmonious relationship until you got your shit in order, essentially, until you got your life together. Maybe you thought like, oh, I can't do XYZ because I don't have enough savings or something. Maybe you felt as though like you couldn't show up for a partner because you didn't have the material security to back that up. Maybe you thought that that was like the be all and end all, and you thought like, I can't do that if I don't have enough money. And maybe this is you realizing with this Lovers card that, I don't know, you don't have to have like a perfect credit score or something to be in a relationship. Like, you don't have to be absolutely perfect in order to show up for somebody else. Like, when you make a connection with somebody, it can't really be held back, it can't really be stopped. This is somebody like meeting you where you are, like, and you meeting them where they are. It's this really balanced union. It could be you accessing freedom in the sense that you are accepting that maybe you're not quite where you want to be in life, but you're not going to let that stop you from accessing dating opportunities. Maybe you are meeting somebody new who you really connect with. There's really this sense of like, wow, this could really be something. It could be a harmonious relationship, and maybe like your self-doubts and your lack of confidence or something, or your thought that you need to be like totally materially secure or you need to reach a certain level in your career before you are able to establish a partnership with somebody, that has maybe been holding you back, and you are feeling more free by realizing that, that doesn't have to hold you back. That's not the case. When somebody comes into our lives and we connect with them and we are feeling that strong desire to unite with them, nothing can really stop it. Like, it doesn't matter how rich or poor you are in like a material sense, nothing is going to get in the way of that. It could be feeling free in that sense, or just being able to connect with somebody on an emotional level, maybe in a way that you couldn't in previous relationships. That could be offering you this sense of freedom. It could be you are having this clarity in this coming month that you have reached a stage of your life where you can enjoy more leisure time with your partner, where you can go on holidays together, you can go traveling, you can just be with them at home more. Like, maybe you could even have reached the stage where you are retiring, or you are taking early retirement or something like that, and it's going to give you more of this leisure time. Maybe that's something you doubted you could do. Maybe you prioritize saving money and, keeping hold of that money, and maybe you are now realizing that actually, like, you deserve to spend some of this money, you deserve to engage with leisure activities, and you deserve to enjoy your life and enjoy yourself. Maybe it's freedom in the sense of you realizing that and really exploring that. With this Knight of Wands, I'm getting somebody who is stepping into an energy of being more energetic. So that could be a way that you are feeling in the upcoming months. Maybe over these past few months, you have dealt with like tiredness. Maybe you have been taking your multivitamins and you are now just starting to feel better. You are starting to have more energy. You're starting to feel more energetic. It could even be like if you have been experiencing a health issue or even just a cold or something. Maybe you have had like that really annoying long cold that has seemed to last forever, and maybe you're coming out of that and just feeling less tired, feeling more energetic. If you have been dealing with a health issue, it could be this month you finally get access to a medication that would help you with that issue, or you finally get a diagnosis that helps you gain more clarity on the situation, and you feel more freedom in the sense that because of this like diagnosis or this access to medication, you feel more in control of your life in terms of your energy, like in terms of the rest that you need and things like that. I'm just really getting the sense that you are going to be way more free spirited this month, way more courageous. You are going to be not afraid with the star to be who you truly are, to be this unique person. And this free spirited nature that you have is something that's going to feel very freeing for you, and it's going to usher in more opportunities. It could be that by being more of yourself, if you do have like a creative project or a hobby or a business that you're working on, maybe the thing that has been holding you back was like an inability to express yourself and an inability to be more vulnerable and to be more open with people. So maybe you sort of getting over that hurdle and exposing more of that side of yourself is something that's really going to propel you forward in a business sense or in regards to your creative projects. Maybe you being courageous and advocating for yourself and speaking out about certain things is the thing that's really going to help you. Maybe just you taking charge and not being afraid to show the true you is going to be something that really helps in a material way and offers you that sense of freedom. That is what I'm getting for you, pal 4. We are just going to finish your reading by rolling the astro dice, so please bear with me, pal 4, while we do that. Pal 4. Okay, pal 4, we have Aries. We have Aries, which is interesting because we got this Emperor card. I think that is Aries. We also got house 4, fourth house. Fourth house, and we also got Pluto. So, pal 4, a way you might be accessing this sense of freedom, something that might be significant to you, is this Aries energy. Aries rules like the house of self. So this could be self-development in terms of being bold, being courageous, accessing more of that fiery energy. We have like a lot of orangey cards down here, a lot of fiery energy. So it seems like even if you are not a fire sign yourself, you are accessing this real go-getter, enthusiastic Aries energy. You are being bold and using more of the power of Mars, which rules Aries, to go and get what you want. So this could be in relation to like a business thing, a creative project, a hobby of some kind, just having more of a courage to put yourself out there in that sense and to go after what you want. And Mars can sometimes refer to energy as well. So what we were saying with like the Knight of Wands, this could be you having more get up and go about you, having more energy, feeling a little bit better in terms of your physical health, and therefore this allowing you to be more free in the sense that you can show up for yourself more. You don't feel like trapped or restricted by like this period of ill health that maybe you've been through. You're not like feeling sorry for yourself anymore because maybe you're not battling quite as hard with this ill health. With Pluto, I always think of like obviously Scorpio, so Scorpio could be significant to you, but even if not, I always think of like death and rebirth. So this could be like destruction in the sense of your destructive ego or like the old version of you. This could be like the death of the old you and another version of you re-emerging, something being birthed, like a new version of you being birthed, of coming into existence and of stepping into your power, because both like Mars and Pluto are like very powerful, I guess, assertive, like driven planets. They're planets that like make things happen. And I feel like that is an energy you're going to be stepping into. Maybe you have felt in the past like you've been a victim of circumstance and you felt trapped, but now it's like you are changing your life for the better, and the ways that you're accessing this freedom is by like going after what you want and being courageous and really transforming in that way. And the fourth house, I mean, this often refers to home. So it could be that this change is taking place in your home, maybe like the people you live with. Maybe it's asserting yourself and stepping into your power in terms of like the people you live with, sticking up for yourself in some way. It could be like not necessarily a physical home, but it could be that you are finding your place in the world via expressing the side of yourself that craves freedom and the side of yourself that wants to be more vulnerable and wants to show yourself more to the world, something like that. It could be that you are finding your place in terms of like physically moving, or maybe you are in the process of finding a location where you would like to live. Maybe it's even like a different country, or maybe you are just thinking of finding yourself and accessing your freedom by doing some travel or something like that. Maybe like you are changing where your home is for a bit, like if you're doing some traveling and you're going to be gone for an extended period of time. Maybe you're changing something about your roots, you're laying down roots elsewhere or something like that. Also, I think Pluto, because it's associated with the 8th house, and that's like the house of sex, this could refer to transformation in regards to your sexuality. Maybe if your sexuality was something that you'd hidden, because like with this Scorpio energy, I'm getting the sense of something being hidden. Maybe this is you being more bold in terms of expressing your sexuality and not really caring about what people will think or say about that. Something like that. Obviously, that's not going to apply to everyone, but that could be the case. Okay, powerful, that is what I am getting for your reading. I hope that this resonated. If even one tiny little bit of the reading resonated with you, please let me know. Please give me a like, please give me a comment, and if possible, please subscribe. That would really, really help me a lot, and it would mean the world to me. Thank you, powerful, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hi Pile 5 Collective, welcome to your reading. If you chose this blue crystal heart, this will be your reading. This reading is about your upcoming month, what to expect in the upcoming month. I'm recording this at the end of January 2024, so this reading is intended to be listened to around February 2024. However, I set the intention that all my readings will be timeless, so at whatever time this reading finds you, whether it's days, weeks, months, or even years later, I believe that this reading is for you and that you might be able to get something out of it, the certain stage of your life that you're in, so please stay tuned. If you would like further information regarding what this reading will entail, please check out the introduction. However, just as a general overview, we will be starting the reading by looking at this one oracle card that you have chosen. This will sort of represent the overarching energy for the upcoming month, and then we will be going into the tarot portion of your reading, which will expand on this energy a little bit more. We will then be closing the reading with a roll of the Astro dice. Okay, Pile 5, without further hesitation, let's have a look at the card you chose. So we have number 36, play. So Pile 5, something that is happening for you this upcoming month is you are going to be having more fun, you are going to be having more playtime, more leisure opportunities, more relaxation. You are generally just going to be playing, you're going to be having some more fun. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, this is not my pile because this upcoming month is my busiest month at work, like I am not going to get any downtime, I'm not going to have any fun, it could still very well be your pile. It could just be that how you are going forward in this next month, even if let's say that it is your busiest month and you are expected to do rather a lot at your job, for example, it could be that in comparison to previous years, for some reason, this month has felt easier. Let's say if you are listening to this at the time I put the video out and we're going into February and previous Februaries have been very, very difficult for you. Whichever situation applies to you, even if your work is very, very busy around that time, for some reason, this coming February is going to feel easier than previous ones. Even if you are like feeling rushed off your feet or feeling busy, it's like you are going to be having more of a good time doing that than during previous years. It could be that maybe like February in the past has been hard if like you started a new job last February or something like that and you didn't really know what you were doing and it took a lot of adapting on your end for you to feel fully confident in the role. It could be that you are now more confident in that role and you are able to sort of have a laugh more when you are working, or you now have a good relationship with your colleagues and you are going to be having a lot of banter back and forth with them or something like that while you are working. So it could still be that you are busy, but in whatever you are doing, you are finding this time to play and to let loose and to just have a good time and have fun and to utilize your sense of humor. Maybe people are wanting to spend more of their leisure time with you because they find you really fun to be around. Maybe they just think you are really funny, and maybe you are in this energy of almost being like a stand-up comedian, like maybe you are cracking more jokes or just being in a more light-hearted energy. Maybe you haven't always felt in this light-hearted energy. Maybe you've been through a bit of a hard time recently and that is why you have found a way to lighten the mood and you found a way to step into this energy. Because with all this like rain on the card, like it's raining, but the crows are still having a good time. They're splashing about in the rain. It's making me think of like somebody splashing about in puddles. And for some reason, I got the image, I don't know whether this has happened to you recently, but I got the image of somebody walking along the street. And I mean, this could be because I live in the north of England where it's very wet and very, very rainy, especially at this time of the year. But if you're walking next to a puddle and then a car splashes through it, I just got this image of somebody, you know, walking down the street and that happens to them. A car goes through a puddle and it just soaks them through. It soaks their entire body. But I get the feeling as though like you are finding the humor in more moments like that. Maybe you have been through a period of like anxiety or of getting worked up or wound up more easily, more frustrated than usual. And maybe you are stepping into this energy or back into this energy of being more playful and finding the funny side of those moments. Like I'm getting the phrase like making the best of a bad situation. So I'm not saying that a bad situation is going to happen to you or anything like that. I just mean that the energy that you're currently embodying, even if bad things do happen to you, you are kind of shrugging it off, you're laughing it off, you're learning to be more playful about it, you're not getting caught up in your feelings about it. You're coming into this upcoming month with a more light-hearted energy. You are not letting things get you down, is very much what I'm getting. Maybe conflicts that you've dealt with in the past, they are just kind of falling by the wayside. You're not concerned with them anymore. You're very much in this playful energy and you're just wanting to have fun. Now, this could refer to you finally getting the chance to do something fun. Like if you have been at a stage in your life where it feels as though things have been a struggle or things have had to be quite serious for quite some time. Maybe like if you've been in a situation where you are looking after a family member who's having some health issues and it feels as though you are responsible for quite a lot of things. It could be that you're finally getting some time this month to let loose and to enjoy yourself a bit more and maybe to put those kinds of things on the back burner, to not think about them as much or something like that. It could be you're at a stage in your life where you've worked incredibly hard on building yourself up in terms of your career and in terms of your financial stability. And now, like this coming month, you are realizing that it is finally the time to play and the time to enjoy the fruits of your labor and to go on holiday if you want to go on holiday or something like that. Maybe you are booking a holiday, you're arranging a holiday, maybe you are just going to more social events, maybe there's more things to celebrate this month. Maybe there's birthdays, engagements, christenings coming up, a chance for you to socialize, to chat to people, to engage with people, and just to celebrate and to explore the more fun and playful aspects of life. I'm also getting the sense of maybe like somebody who's spending more time with young people. So you could be like doing a placement at a school if you are a student, and you could be like actually playing with kids as part of your role, or you could be a teacher and that could be a part of your role. And maybe like you have got a different class or a younger class or something, and you are engaging in more playful activities with them, and you are trying to use your role to give lessons in like a fun way or something like that. Or it could be that you are playing more, you're having more opportunity to play with your own children, to engage in games with them. Or if you just enjoy gaming generally, it could be that you're having more leisure time to focus on like gaming or just the things that you enjoy, however that applies to you. Or it could be that you have recently got a new pet, or you are just getting time to play with your pet, which is really cute. If you already have a pet, maybe you are just getting more opportunities to take them out and play with them. It could just be due to something as simple as like the weather improving. I don't know if it is like where you are, obviously, like it's not that great here, to be honest, but it does feel like we can get out a little bit more as we get closer to spring. So maybe that's the case for you, like you're getting out more and you're taking your dog on a walk and you're playing fetch with your dog out on the park or something like that, and things just feel a bit lighter, a bit brighter. It could be like you stepped out of a moment of darkness and now you are very much ready to play and to access that more light-hearted energy. This card is number 36, so maybe the number 36 is relevant to you. Maybe that is the age you might be turning soon. Maybe you've turned that age and you are having this realization and this desire to step into a more playful energy at that stage in your life. It doesn't have to be. I'm just mentioning the number because it's showing up on the card. But that is what I have got for you, Pile 5, with the Oracle reading. We are just going to move on to the tarot portion of the reading, so please bear with me. Welcome to the tarot portion of your reading, Pile 5. Without hesitation, we are just going to get straight into it. So let's have a look at what you got. Okay, we've got the 5 of Pentacles. We've got the 9 of Wands. We've got the 9 of Swords. We've got the 2 of Swords. We have got the 2 of Pentacles. We have got the Hanged Man. We have got the Ace of Cups. We have got the Sun. We have got the 6 of Cups. And we have got Strength. Please bear with me, Pile 5. I'm just going to check that all the cards are in frame. So, Pile 5, it could be that in the not so distant past, you have experienced some mental health struggles of some kind. It doesn't have to be, like maybe you are not diagnosed as having like depression or anxiety, although you could well be, like that is something that's coming through. But with the 9 of Swords, I'm really feeling as though even if you've not been diagnosed with like having anxiety, that you have experienced some anxiety, in fact a great deal of anxiety. You've sort of got to the end of your tether with a situation. You could have been experiencing a lot of nightmares. You could have been feeling isolated. You could have just been feeling a lot of despair over a situation. You could have gone through significant hardship recently. It could be that you've been in this state of anxiety or worry if like you have lost a job or something like that. And I know like the 5 of Pentacles doesn't have to necessarily mean that, but it can mean that. So it could be that you have been worried because you've gone through a period of unemployment and you are very much concerned about, or you have been concerned about material resources and essentially like how you are going to survive, how you are going to cope, how you're going to pay your bills or something like that. And it could be that you have had to step into this sort of very serious mode and you have had to put all your energy into maybe like finding a different job or something like that. It doesn't have to be, but it could just be like whatever situation you were placed in, it came with a lot of negativity. Maybe it felt as though you were putting energy into this one particular thing and it wasn't really materializing it into anything. With the Nine of Wands, this can feel like you were having to be very resilient in a certain situation. It could be that maybe you were having to be very persistent, like if it was in relation to this unemployment situation, like maybe you got made redundant or something like that, or there has just been like a loss of your income in a certain way. Maybe you were having to be really persistent with chasing up like potential job opportunities. Maybe all your energy was focused on that. But whatever situation this was, I'm getting that the energy you're stepping into this month is that you can very much like breathe a sigh of relief. That is what I'm getting. There's going to be this sense of like things don't feel as serious anymore. You're not in as much despair. You're not feeling as much anxiety over this situation. It's really this sense of like playfulness. Pile 5, I am so sorry. I got partway through your reading and unfortunately I then realised my phone had died. So I have now had to borrow my partner's phone to pick up where we left off and to continue with your reading. So as you can see, like I've already rolled the Astro dice. So I'm sorry that you didn't get to see me roll that on camera, but I will just put those to one side while I continue with the reading and then we will talk about those in a second. Maybe you have been so serious and so focused on this one thing that it has not allowed you to see perspective elsewhere because you're thinking, well, how, if it is like an employment thing, you're thinking, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to survive? How am I going to get by? You are really struggling in that sense, and all your energy is going towards that situation. And maybe it's something you've been feeling quite negative about. You've been feeling as though the situation won't get better, or like this is the worst time of your life, or something. And I'm really getting that your perspective is shifting in many ways. But with the Hanged Man, it's like you are seeing things in a new light. And if it's in regard to this situation that kind of feels as though it's out of control, like maybe something is out of your hands, if it's like a loss of employment or something like that, obviously that's not a choice that you made, but whatever choice has been made on your behalf or whatever situation you have been put in, it's like it's no longer trapping you, it's just allowing you to change and to grow and to see things from a different perspective. It's like, well, if this hadn't have happened to me, I wouldn't have been able to do XYZ. So, this could even refer to a relationship. It could be that a relationship has ended, and maybe this felt as though it wasn't your choice. Maybe you were trying to make this situation with this person work, but maybe that choice has been taken out of your hands. Maybe it was like hot and cold with this person. Maybe you felt quite up and down. You didn't feel yourself with them. Maybe your intuition with this Ace of Cups was telling you not to pursue this relationship. And maybe this manifested into, I mean, I think intuition and anxiety are very different, but maybe this manifested for you in terms of anxiety because you were ignoring your intuition. Your body was in like fight or flight or feeling in a constant state of anxiety over this person or over this situation because maybe you were refusing to listen to your intuition about it and you were feeling like you couldn't do anything to change the situation. It could be that this person was making effort with you one minute and then not the next, and this had you in a constant state of going back and forth and of turmoil and of not really knowing where you stand, but feeling trapped in terms of like being able to assert your boundaries and stick up for yourself and to ask for more. And with this Two of Swords, it's making me feel as though in the past you have maybe been in the middle of a conflict. It's felt like you have been placed in like the middle of a situation. You could have been faced recently with pressure to like pick a side in terms of people arguing or people having conflict or confrontation within your friend group. Maybe you felt as though you were being pulled in all these different directions. People in your group had a falling out, and maybe you felt as though you had to pick a side, and that was causing sort of internal conflict within you. You felt like you were being pulled this way and then this way. And this new sense of perspective that you've got, this new playful energy that you are tapping into, that is really giving you the opportunity to step up and say, I'm not getting involved in your silly little conflicts. I am not engaging in these silly little arguments. I have been trapped in this negative energy for so long that I am not engaging with anything like that any further. And it's not necessarily that like you won't give your friends advice or something like that. With this Ace of Cups, it's actually that you're sort of more in tune, like you're more tapped into your intuition, and maybe that will enable you to offer your friends advice in a more empathetic and understanding way or something like that. But it's just like you are not dealing with people's childishness. And if people are arguing around you over petty little things, you are just saying, I cannot deal with your BS. I am not getting involved in this. Like, go away, leave me alone. You are flapping those birds right off. And people know with this strength card, it's like people know that they can't really mess with you in that way. Maybe you were somebody previously who, like, you had trouble dealing with conflict, or maybe you felt as though you had to like pick a side or something, but now you're just stepping so far away from it. You're not dealing with that negative energy. You're very much in like a playful energy where you are here to enjoy yourself and you understand the value in that. I think that is the thing as well, because you have been so concerned with this one situation up here. It's like you've lost the ability to have fun, and in this upcoming month you are just going to be having a lot more fun, and you're not going to be associating with that negative energy, or you're going to be less serious. I get the sense of somebody who, like, and I'm not saying that you will be in a bad situation, but if a bad situation happens with this hanged man, it's like, well, you know, I'm in this situation, but there's good things that I can take from it. It's offered me the opportunity for growth. It's offered me different opportunities, because maybe you're stepping into a better future and a more confident version of you with the Sun card and with this Strength card. It's very much giving Leo energy, which talks about confidence, self-assuredness, and I think that is something people are sensing from you, and maybe they're getting this sense that they really can't mess with you, they really can't drag you into their little conflicts, their gossip, things like that, because you are just not in that energy where you are accepting it. You see the value in really stepping into your playful and innocent side and tapping into those more light-hearted, fun aspects of life. With the Sun, the people around you might notice that you are glowing. They might think that you have had a glow up, that you are radiating a lot of Leo energy. So Leo could be significant for you, but it doesn't have to be. It could just be that they feel you are glowing, but a lot of this glow up comes from like an internal source of just being more confident and being more assertive. It could be that you are like, because of this situation you've been through, with this hanged man, a part of you is thinking like, well, if this job hadn't have ended, I wouldn't have got this other opportunity, or if my relationship hadn't ended, I wouldn't be able to go and pursue XYZ. It's gaining this new perspective. With that comes more of an ability to trust your intuition more, trust what your intuition was trying to tell you, but also a sense of confidence that you are on the right path. And as well, like, because you have been in this kind of despairing or negative energy for so long, because you have been feeling so anxious, because you have been struggling, it's really you tapping into being less serious, having some form of release. Maybe it is you engaging with a new creative project, a new hobby. Maybe you are just exploring those more fun, leisurely aspects of life a little bit more. With this Two of Pentacles, there is maybe still an element of you feeling like resources have to be stretched a little bit more to accommodate your needs, but it's not going to feel like as much of a constraint this upcoming month as what it once did. Maybe you are not like quite out of the woods yet in terms of your financial situation, let's say, or anything, or something like that. But it is feeling as though you are getting towards a better situation than what you have been in. It's not like you are still in survival mode. You are coming out of this survival mode and this feeling of despair to something better. And you are really feeling that this upcoming month. Things are coming more into balance. Maybe there's still one thing that has more of your focus, like you're still having to focus on one particular thing a little bit more than another thing. So maybe there is a little bit of a sense of things still being out of balance to some capacity, but things are aligning more than what they were previously, is what I'm getting. So it could be if you dealt with unemployment or something like that, it could be that you have got a new job, or you feel really confident about applying to jobs, or you feel as though you're going to get a new job very soon, and with that it's going to bring some opportunity for you to save a little bit of your money, for you to pay your bills, for you to just live. And with that, it's the sense of you being able to enjoy yourself more. Maybe you can go out and do more things because you have a little bit more freedom in terms of money. You are able to go out and play, something like that. Or you are just less focused on just making ends meet. That's what I'm getting. It's not just all about like paying your bills or being focused on this one particular thing. You have the ability to do more than one thing, to focus on more than one thing, and that's coming more into balance. It could be like if you were trapped in this relationship that was a bit of a dead end, maybe you didn't want to admit that to yourself, and maybe, you know, there were times when you thought about ending it, but you didn't. It's like you were clinging onto this relationship, feeling as though it would get better and like ignoring your intuition in some way. And it could be this ending of a relationship of some kind gives you the clarity you need, because you're like, well, if this relationship hadn't have ended, I wouldn't be able to step into this more playful energy, because for a long time I've been so focused on this one situation. It's taken up all of my emotional energy. It's taken up a lot of my time. I've been putting all of my thoughts, my emotions into this one person who isn't giving me very much back. And maybe you're still feeling a little bit of grief over this situation. Maybe you are feeling as though you won't get over this person, or you won't get over the loss of this relationship. Maybe you are still in a little bit of an energy where you're feeling like, you know, you're not going to overcome that. But I'm very much getting the sense that you will overcome it. And actually, I'm getting the sense that there will come a time, and you might not think this will be the case, but there will come a time when you will look at this situation and you will laugh. You will actually find amusement at the fact that you thought that this situation is like the best you could do, because there is so much more for you out there. There is so much more brightness in your upcoming future. And that is maybe something you are going to be starting to come to terms with, starting to realize with this emotional growth that's taking place and this sun energy showing up. It could be something that you are starting to realize in this upcoming month. It's like, wow, there is actually better out there for me. Like, I didn't have to stay stuck in this situation. That isn't the best I could do. I want more for myself, and I'm actually discovering that I can get more for myself. The more that you are wanting isn't just some far off fantasy. You can make it a reality. That is something that you are very much realizing, and a way you are stepping into this more playful energy in the upcoming month. With the strength card, again, like I'm getting this sense that maybe you are asserting your boundaries more. So that could be with any potential partners, or it could just be with colleagues or in friendships. It could be like you are giving yourself more time to play in terms of your leisure activities. That could be like your manager reaching out to you and asking you to do more overtime for like the 5th time this week. And maybe you've already worked like 50 hours. And maybe there was a past version of you who felt as though you had to do that and you couldn't really assert your boundaries and you didn't deserve leisure time. But now you are really discovering that you do deserve that leisure time. You deserve to let loose and have fun. And you are really tapping into that side of yourself, whether it's through social events, going out more, having a good drink with your friends, whether it's just engaging in your hobbies more, maybe going back to like a childhood hobby with the 6 of Cups, maybe something that you'd put on the back burner or that you'd forgotten about or you hadn't had time to do. It could be returning to that childhood hobby and really putting a lot of energy towards that, and really knowing within yourself that you deserve that time to play. It could literally be that you are spending more time doing things you enjoy, like gaming, if you enjoy gaming, or it could be with the 6 of Cups that you are spending more time with people from your past or people in your family. With this cute doggy and the little boy, it's making me think like if you have your own children, maybe you are getting more time to spend with them and play with them. Or it could just be like, I mean, obviously, if you live in the north of England, like the weather is still really rubbish here, but it could be like the closer, you know, that we get to spring, the more that we get to experience the brighter days, the less it rains. Maybe you are going out more with your pet, you are taking your dog on a walk and you are playing more with your pet, you are getting time to do that and you are feeling empowered to do that. Or it could just be that you have like nephews or nieces and you're seeing more of them and tapping into that more creative side of yourself through interacting with the little people in your life. It could be that you are meeting someone new as well with this Ace of Cups. Maybe there is a spark in terms of romance, and this could actually be somebody who you'd kind of forgotten about with the Six of Cups, it could be somebody who sort of brings this sense of nostalgia. Like if you are on any social media platforms, and maybe somebody sees a picture of you and somebody from your past is sliding into your DMs or something like that, and you are having a conversation with them, maybe you are reliving memories. There's some element of like comfort or nostalgia from your past. Maybe you're talking about something that happened years ago with this person, or you're just catching up with them. It doesn't have to be romantic. It could just be like a friend or a group of friends who you decide to meet up with and you reminisce on these memories. And again, that allows you to tap into your playful side, because maybe you're talking with these people in the upcoming month about like things you did when you were teenagers, when you were a bit naughty or something like that, and you're kind of having a laugh over those past situations, just something like that. Just ways that you can access that youthful, vibrant, bold, younger version of you that is coming through more. It's like you're losing this anxiety ridden version of you, and that might not go away entirely. Like obviously it takes time to overcome mental health struggles. It's not an easy journey, but it's like you are becoming more you again, and you are being reminded of your strength due to what you've been through, what you've experienced, and you are really getting this sense of like that you don't always have to take life so seriously. Like it doesn't always have to be that deep, and that's okay. You can enjoy leisure time. You don't always have to be like on the go or doing something to feel like you are worth something. Like it's like you are realizing that you deserve downtime, you deserve to relax, you deserve to enjoy yourself. All these things are very beneficial to you. Okay, obviously I've already rolled the Astro dice, so I'll just go through what I said again and I will just show you what you've got. So you got Scorpio, you got Scorpio, you got the fifth house, and you got Neptune. So with Scorpio, I was very much getting, I mean, Scorpio could be a prominent placement for you. And I think when I did talk about this, when I did originally roll your Astro dice, I mentioned actually water energy, like water energy generally could be significant for you. And this could symbolize you being more in touch with your emotional side, you learning to trust your intuition more over this next coming month, and developing a deeper connection to your own emotions. But with Scorpio, this could also symbolize you sort of stepping into your transformative power over this next month by asserting your boundaries, by displaying this strength. It could be like saying no to doing overtime at work, something as simple as that. This could be you transforming your life, accessing more of that playful energy by stepping into that power. You know, with Scorpio ruling Pluto, I always think of like death and rebirth. I think of like destruction, but then something new coming from it. So it could be that you have abandoned this old version of you in favor of a person who has been through a lot, but is ultimately stronger and ultimately can see the lighter side of even the darkest situations. It's like even when you are in the worst situation that you could be in, there is this powerful light that shines within you that is helping you get through that situation. You are utilizing your strength to help you get through it and to be the most empowered version of you. And somebody who is able to access that playful energy by, looking on the lighter side of darker situations and realizing that we aren't always in control of what happens to us, but there is joy to be found even in some moments that can feel really dark. There is always joy to be found. So yeah, I'm getting this real sense of death and rebirth with the Scorpio. With you asserting your boundaries, it doesn't even necessarily have to be something extremely huge. It could just be like you refusing to engage with this Two of Swords conflict or something like that, and people realizing that you have changed in a big way by refusing to get caught up in like negative BS essentially. Maybe because of what you've been through, there is no more room in your brain and in your heart to engage with that kind of negative thinking or people around you being deliberately argumentative or something like that. You just don't have time for it, and I think people can see that. You are really learning to embrace the playful energy because you are seeing that that is one of the best ways to live. Like being able to find joy and moments of laughter and moments of fun, even in the darkest situations, can be an amazing way of making ourselves feel better in these difficult circumstances.
And with this fifth house, obviously, fifth house is a Leo house, which is very exciting because I said that I was feeling a lot of Leo energy from this pile. And, it doesn't have to be relevant to you, it's just that whatever placements are significant in your chart, I really get this sense that you are tapping into this more creative, confident energy. And on the shadow side of Leo, they can sometimes be perceived as like a little bit selfish, and maybe you are stepping into a more selfish energy, but it's selfish in the way that you deserve. And what I mean by that is that maybe you are somebody who, in the not so distant past, you have thought about other people's emotions, you have put other people before you, or you have thought, just with the work example, you have thought, well, I have to go into work because if I don't, they'll be short staffed and my colleagues will really struggle. So who cares if I've already done 60 hours this week? I don't need sleep. I don't need to do my leisure activities. Something like that. You could have convinced yourself that, you are like taking one for the team. And that is something that's beautiful and very unselfish, very giving about you. But I feel as though to be the best version of ourselves, we do sometimes have to take that time to rest and to engage with leisure activities and to put ourselves first, to be a little selfish sometimes. So maybe you taking that time to engage with hobbies is something that feels selfish at the time, but in this upcoming month, you are doing that more and more and realizing how good it feels to finally put yourself first for once. Maybe that is something that's happening for you. You are prioritizing your hobbies or something like that, something that you enjoy. The fifth house also refers to like children, so it could be that you are getting to spend more time with your children or something like that, and you are engaging with their hobbies. Maybe you are getting involved with that more playful side of your children's lives, like maybe you are playing more games with them, or you are just playing more games full stop, like if you have a console of some kind. Maybe you are doing more of that as a form of relaxation and a form of pleasure. Maybe you are picking up hobbies and interests from your past with the Six of Cups. Maybe you are returning to a hobby that you felt like you no longer had time to do, but you are returning to it and it is giving you this sense of comfort because it's something that you really used to enjoy, but maybe you lost the time to do it due to like work commitments or something. And maybe you are picking that hobby up again and really enjoying it. And that is also a way you are accessing this very playful and fun energy. It could be in this upcoming month you are watching a new show or something. It could just be something as simple as you taking more time to yourself to watch a new show. Maybe there is a series this month that you really get hooked on. Maybe you've gone through like a bit of drought with shows, like with TV series. Maybe you haven't been able to find something that's hooked you. And maybe there's one in particular that you're really enjoying and it feels like a bit of fun. It feels more lighthearted than your usual shows or something like that. Or it could be that you are going to see a show, like you've booked to see a show, like a musical or something. It doesn't have to be a musical, it could be like going to the cinema or just like seeing a musician perform or something like that. You are just dedicating more time to your fun, to that more light-hearted energy. You are being very playful and really stepping into that Leo energy, but also more confidently asserting yourself this upcoming month. Okay, Pal 5, that is what I have for you. I'm very sorry that I had to re-record some of your reading, but it can't be helped. I did try to keep checking that it was still recording, but I couldn't check all the time, so unfortunately some of it got cut off. But yeah, I have tried to re-record to the best of my ability. Anyway, if this reading resonated with you at all, please like the video, please give me a comment, and please, if possible, subscribe. That would mean the absolute world to me. But thank you so much for listening to this reading, Pal 5, and I'll see you in the next one.